One moment, I'm minding my own business, and the next moment, I'm waking up as a skinny teenage boy in some medieval fantasy world with a massive lump on my head, because apparently, the previous owner of this body got kicked in the skull by a donkey. Yeah, a donkey. Not a dragon. Not a demon lord. A donkey. Welcome to my new life, everybody. I'm standing in the outer courtyard of Habsburg Manor in shining gold town, Meister County, watching a bunch of scrawny kids in rough cloth shirts form a half-circle around a big muscular blacksmith named Barl, who is currently trimming donkey hooves like it's the most important lesson in the universe. And honestly, in this world, it kind of is. See, here's how things work in this lovely medieval hellhole. Noble families recruit kids as child servants and put them through a 3-month training boot camp. At the end, they pick 5 winners to become official household servants. 2 blacksmith apprentices, 2 guards, and 1 dog trainer. That's it. 5 spots. Out of all of us. It's basically the fantasy world version of a civil service exam, except instead of studying law textbooks, I'm learning how to hold down a donkey's foot while a grown man attacks it with a giant iron scraper. The dream is alive, people. Oh, and about my current situation, my original body's family scraped together almost all their savings just to bribe the head servant and get me a spot in this program. All that sacrifice and investment, so their beloved son could compete for the honor of becoming someone's servant. My parents went broke so I could win the right to clean horse poop professionally. I'm so moved I could cry. Now let me introduce the local entertainment, the Rich Kids Club. There's Thick Eyebrows, son of the town tavern owner. Freckle Face, son of the inn owner. And Brown Shorts, the tanner's kid, who's lucky enough to not have a humiliating nickname yet. These 3 geniuses formed a little gang and immediately decided that your boy Rain should be their personal cleaning lady. Every single day, I'm sweeping the dormitory while they kick back and relax. The chore was supposed to rotate between all of us. But apparently, when you're a stick-figure orphan boy who just got drop-kicked by livestock, you don't exactly have negotiating power. And right now, these 3 comedians are standing nearby pointing and laughing at me because of the donkey incident. He got kicked by a donkey. Ha ha ha. Real peak humor over here, guys. You should take that act on the road. But while they're busy being idiots, I'm actually eavesdropping on their gossip, because Freckle Face and Thick Eyebrows are the town's 2 biggest news sources. One runs an inn, the other a tavern. Information Central. And what I'm hearing is concerning. Apparently, a nearby town called Aldborough got attacked by wandering ogres last night. Multiple casualties. And before that, some town called Monaheim had a cult sacrifice incident. People died there too. Ogres? Cults? Sacrificial rituals? Hold on. Is this a supernatural world? My brain starts racing. The previous me always thought the stories from traveling bards and mercenaries were just fairy tales. Sea monsters, haunted houses, deadly plagues, creatures lurking in the darkness. But based on how scared these rich kids sound, all of that might be real. I'm simultaneously excited and terrified. Mostly terrified. Before I can process any of this, Blacksmith Barl yells my name. Next group. Rain and George. Great. My turn to wrestle the donkey. I grab the hoof alongside a blonde kid named George, and we hold on for dear life while Barl starts scraping away. Everything's going fine until he hits an infected spot in the center of the hoof. There's actual pus leaking out, and this donkey goes absolutely nuclear. The beast starts thrashing and screaming like I just insulted its entire family lineage. George and I are hanging on like 2 wet towels strapped to a washing machine on spin cycle. My arms are shaking, sweat is pouring down my face, my hair is plastered to my forehead, and my stamina bar is dropping to 0. 2 minutes. I lasted 2 minutes before my body basically shut down. When Barl finally finishes the last hoof, George and I collapse onto the ground like deflated balloons. The Rich Kids Club immediately erupts into laughter again, because of course they do. George turns red as a tomato from embarrassment. Me? I don't even hear them, because something just appeared on my eyeballs. A transparent window, floating right there on my retina. It automatically flipped to page 2, and written on it in small text with a bunch of little icons. You assisted in hoof trimming work. Related comprehension improved. You have learned a new skill, hoof trimming. Your hoof trimming skill has improved. Experience 1. Congratulations. You have triggered a job panel, blacksmith apprentice. I got a system. I got kicked in the head by a donkey. And I got a system. The donkey wasn't trying to kill me. It was trying to activate my cheat code. That donkey is my benefactor. I owe that donkey my life. I should build a statue of that donkey. Here stands the sacred donkey of destiny, who bestowed upon Rain Kalen the gift of infinite potential through the ancient technique of cranial hoof impact. And my very first skill in this brand new system? Not swordsmanship, not magic, not some legendary combat technique. Hoof trimming. My cheat ability started with hoof trimming, experience +1. I am going to conquer this world, one donkey foot at a time. All right, let me tell you about my glorious new career path, Blacksmith Apprentice Level 1. I pull up my shiny new job panel, and there it is at the top, Blacksmith Apprentice LV1, 0 out of 100, with a whole grid of skill icons underneath. Every single one of them is dark and blurry and completely unreadable, except for one lonely little icon glowing at the very bottom. My one and only skill, hoof trimming. The icon is actually pretty cute though, a little rounded square with a hoof facing up and a black iron scraper on the side. Very professional. Very niche. Underneath it reads, hoof trimming LV1, 1/100th. Now hold on. I have a very important question for this system. Why did trimming a donkey's hoof trigger a blacksmith job panel? Shouldn't it trigger a veterinarian panel? I was performing animal health care. Where's my medical license? Unless, in this world, hoof trimming and horseshoe nailing are just standard blacksmith apprentice duties? Or maybe the system assigned the job based on who was teaching me, not what I was doing. Barl is a blacksmith, so the system went, close enough, you're a blacksmith now? You know what, forget it. I'll take it. Blacksmiths in the medieval era are kings. They make weapons, armor, tools. Everyone needs a blacksmith. This is actually a solid foundation. My buddy George tugs on my sleeve. Rain, let's go. Stop spacing out. It's lunchtime, and it's someone else's turn now, but I'm looking at my experience bar. I got 1 point. 1. And I need 100 to level up this skill. And I need the job to level up too. At this rate, I'll max out my hoof trimming skill sometime around my retirement. Unless, Master Barl, I want to do another round. Every single kid in the courtyard turns to stare at me like I just volunteered to eat a live scorpion. George is behind me frantically tugging at my ragged shirt, whisper screaming, Rain, did the donkey kick your brain out? Why would you? Stop pulling, George. Pull any harder, and this shirt becomes a crop top. He looks down at the fabric that's already basically held together by prayers and dirt, and lets go. Barl actually looks surprised. He studies my face for a moment, sees I'm dead serious, and nods. Fine. Engels, you're bumped to next round. Engels, that's brown shorts, the tanner's kid, practically skips away with joy. He even pats my shoulder on the way out and says, good boy, like I'm the family dog. This guy's goal is to become a manor guard, not a blacksmith. To him, hoof trimming is peasant work beneath his dignity. He's thrilled some idiot just volunteered to do his shift. You're welcome, brown shorts. Enjoy your vacation. I grind donkey hooves all morning. My arms are shaking, my back is screaming, my entire body feels like it's been through a washing machine. But every time I want to quit, I look up at my panel and see those beautiful, beautiful words. Experience 1, experience 1, experience 1. It's like watching money deposit into my bank account. I can't stop. I'm addicted. By the time I physically cannot lift my arms anymore, my hoof trimming skill has jumped to LV1, 12/100ths. 12 points in one morning. Not bad considering I'm just the guy holding the hoof, while Barl does the actual cutting. But then reality hits me like that donkey hoof hit my skull. Habsburg Manor only has a few dozen donkeys. Tomorrow, maybe one more day of trimming, and we're done. After that, I won't get another chance to trim hooves for a month or more. And my blacksmith apprentice job experience? I checked the bar. LV1, 2/100ths. 2 points. 2. I worked all morning, and the job only gained 2 points? The skill went up 12 times, but the actual job barely moved. Is it because hoof trimming has almost nothing to do with real blacksmithing? That's like saying, congratulations, you mopped the floor at a hospital, here's 0.02 credits toward your medical degree. At this rate, I'll become a full blacksmith around the same time the sun explodes. And the exam is in 3 months. If I can't level up before then, I'm toast. I flip back to page 1 of my panel. Oh hey, it's a stats page. Name, Rain Kalen job, Blacksmith apprentice, LV 1 constitution, 5 strength, 4 agility, 6 spirit, 8. Note: average adult male equals 6 in all stats. Strength 4? I'm below the average adult in literally everything except spirit. No wonder I can't hold down a single donkey leg. I'm statistically weaker than the average woman in this world. I'm not a human being. I'm a noodle with legs. The spirit being 8 is interesting though, higher than a normal adult. Maybe that's because 2 souls merged inside this body. Double the consciousness, double the mental power? Cool. Too bad spirit doesn't help me arm wrestle donkeys. Rain, stop daydreaming. Lunch. George waves me over. What's wrong with you today? You keep zoning out, he asks, genuinely concerned. Probably just thinking too much after the injury, I say casually. George accepts this immediately. After all, his best friend did get kicked in the skull by livestock less than 24 hours ago. Some daydreaming is expected. Now about lunch. The manor actually feeds us pretty well by medieval standards. Each kid gets 1 black bread loaf, half a smoked fish, and a big bowl of vegetable soup. My fellow trainees are practically drooling. Their Adam's apples are bobbing up and down like pistons. The moment the head servant yells, "Eat," they descend on the food like a pack of starving wolves. I pick up the black bread and oh, this isn't bread. This is a weapon. It's the size of a brick, has the texture of sandpaper, and the hardness of actual concrete. I'm pretty sure I could kill someone with this. Forget swords. Just issue every soldier 2 black breads and let them bludgeon the enemy to death. I watch the other kids tear their bread apart with pure muscle, crumble it into pieces, and dump it into the soup to soften it up. Smart. It's basically the medieval version of dipping naan. I copy them, take a big bite, and immediately find wood shavings in my mouth. Wood shavings. In the bread. Back in my old life, the mystery meat in takeout was bad enough. You never knew what animal donated its flesh to your dinner. But at least it was meat. Here, I can't even get bread without bonus lumber mixed in. While I chew my construction material lunch, I notice George staring at something with a dreamy expression. I follow his gaze and spot a girl in a gray linen-made uniform bending over to clean a table, her figure drawing a rather appreciative curve. That's Sophia. Same age as us, also a manor trainee. The girls have different training from the boys. They start with cleaning, laundry, and scrubbing. But girls mature faster than boys, and Sophia is already blooming into a genuine beauty. I look around. George is not the only teenage boy staring. Half the courtyard has temporarily forgotten how to eat. For me, a veteran of 2 lifetimes, a cute girl in a maid outfit is nice, but hardly mind-breaking. For these hormone-flooded 13-year-olds, though, she might as well be a goddess descended from heaven. George. What are you looking at? George flinches. His face turns tomato red. He shoves half his black bread toward me. And nothing. Rain, you worked hard this morning. You should eat more. Here, take this. You sure you've had enough? I'm basically full. Go ahead. He lies through his teeth. This kid is trying to bribe me with bread to change the subject. I mentally stamp a good person card on George's forehead, but I decline the wood-flavored brick. 1 serving of lumber is enough for today, thanks. After a pause, I decide to give my buddy some life advice. Without looking up, I mumble, George, you can stare at her 100 more times, and she still won't be yours. Instead of wasting time looking, figure out how to pass the exam. Pass the exam, and then she can be yours. George goes nuclear red. He whips his head around in panic, checking if anyone heard, then hisses, Rain, we're best friends, but don't say crazy things. I was not staring at Sophia. Funny. I never said a name. You just said Sophia. George's jaw drops. His mouth opens and closes like a fish. I can literally see the gears in his brain jamming. He stares at me with a new expression, like he's seeing me for the first time. I can practically read his thought bubble. Did getting kicked in the head by a donkey actually make him smarter? Yes, George. Yes, it did. Donkey brain surgery. Highly recommended. 5 stars. After lunch, we're back to grinding hooves. My stamina recovered enough to keep going. And even though my back and shoulders feel like they belong to a 70-year-old man, that sweet one keeps me going like caffeine straight to the veins. But then something happens that interrupts our humble donkey pedicure session. About 20 young men and women march into the outer bailey, the big training courtyard we've been borrowing. They're around our age, but the boys are tall and built, and the girls are dressed in expensive, elegant outfits. They walk in like they own the place. Because they basically do. My inherited memories kick in. These are the children of low-ranking nobles and wealthy merchants under Count Habsburg. They're here for Knight Squire training. Knight Squire training. I look back at my rich kids club, thick eyebrows, freckle face, brown shorts, and almost laugh. These guys thought they were hot stuff. Their dads own a tavern and an inn. These new arrivals? Their families have actual titles, actual land, actual power. My rich kids are cosplaying as rich kids. Those people are the real deal. Blacksmith Barl smacks a gawking trainee on the back of the head. Whack. Ow. Stop drooling, you little brats, Barl snorts. Those people were born at a level you couldn't reach even if you worked your entire lives. Just learn a good trade, and you'll live comfortably. That's your ceiling. Harsh? Absolutely. Wrong? Unfortunately. Also no. In this era, social climbing is basically a fairy tale. For peasant kids like us, learning a craft is the endgame. That's as good as it gets. At least, that's what normal people think. I've got a system panel that gives me experience points for touching donkey feet. The rules might be a little different for me. And then, right as I'm thinking this, my eyes lock onto something among the Knight Squires. Something that makes my pupils shrink to pinpoints. Something that changes everything. I'm over here trimming donkey toenails like a good little medieval nail technician when everything changes. Out in the center of the training field, this mountain of a man walks up, at least 6'3", wearing full gray metal armor, moving like the armor weighs nothing, carrying a two-handed greatsword wider than my entire hand. He walks up to a stone pillar standing upright on the ground and just swings. One strike. Downward chop. A silver arc flashes through the air. Crack. The top half of the stone pillar slides off at a perfect diagonal angle and slams into the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. The cut surface? Smooth. Like someone used a laser cutter. On stone. With a sword. The real noble kids immediately start clapping and cheering. Amazing, Instructor Perez. So this is what a real knight can do. When will I reach that level? Meanwhile, I'm standing here with donkey gunk on my hands, rubbing my eyes like a cartoon character. Did that just happen? Did a human being just cut through solid stone with a sword? This isn't something people can do. This is something anime characters do. Before today, all my evidence for this being a supernatural world was secondhand gossip from drunk mercenaries and dramatic bards. Stories about monsters and curses and haunted houses, stuff that might be true, might be campfire nonsense. But this just happened right in front of my face. 20 meters away, in broad daylight. A dude in armor just bisected a rock with a piece of metal. This is like watching Iron Man land on your apartment balcony. My brain is short-circuiting. I glance back at my little transparent panel, my precious hoof-trimming LV1, and suddenly it doesn't feel so exciting anymore. Even if I max out my blacksmith career, I'm still just a regular guy. A regular guy in a world where people can slice boulders in half. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Not terrifying at all. But then, then it gets better. One of the noble girls steps forward. She's wearing a fitted hunting outfit, chestnut ponytail swinging behind her. From my angle, I can only see her from the side. But even her silhouette screams, "I am extremely beautiful, and I will also destroy you." Her body is coiled tight like a leopard about to pounce. She challenges Instructor Perez to a sparring match. He agrees, and she opens with a jumping overhead slash while holding a greatsword that's at least 5 feet long. Clang. Sparks. Actual sparks flying everywhere like a 4th of July fireworks show. Steel meeting steel at full force. The sound is so loud and sharp that my ears physically hurt from 30 meters away. My teeth are vibrating. Several of the noble kids grab their ears and wince. Let me repeat that. A teenage girl just clashed swords with a fully armored giant man, and the impact was equal. She didn't bounce off. She didn't get sent flying. She went blow for blow. Then she starts moving. Her footwork is insane. She's bouncing around like a gazelle, tapping the ground with her toes and launching herself at crazy angles, attacking from every direction. That chestnut ponytail is whipping back and forth like a helicopter blade. Her greatsword, which must weigh 70 or 80 pounds based on the metal fragment I'll find in a second, is swinging through the air like it's made of cardboard. Instructor Perez, meanwhile, just stands there like a reef in the ocean. He doesn't attack at all, just blocks. Every single strike. Clang, 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 clang. Rock solid. Immovable. Then the girl screams, cleaving slash, and leaps several meters into the air, several meters, and her whole body pulls taut like a drawn bow, coiled with explosive power, and she brings that massive sword down at a 45-degree angle with everything she's got. Boom. The metal-on-metal screech is so horrible it makes my teeth feel like they're dissolving. Kids are covering their ears everywhere. Only 4 or 5 of the noble trainees can watch without flinching. And then, a tiny gray flash shoots out from where the two swords collided, arcs through the air, and thunks into the ground about 1 meter in front of me. A metal fragment. A chip broken off from one of the great swords by the sheer force of impact. Both Perez and the girl glance in my direction at the exact same time, and I feel like a rabbit being stared at by 2 tigers. Every hair on my body stands straight up. My heart stops. The pressure coming off these two is absolutely suffocating. Then they look away. They were just checking if the fragment hit anyone. I'm not even worth a second glance to them. But in that brief moment when the girl turned her head, I finally saw her face. For words, absolutely. Stunning. Warrior. Goddess. Oval face, slightly thick eyebrows that gave her this fierce heroic look, a pair of brownish-gray eyes that practically glowed, and that hunting outfit hugging her athletic frame. She looked exactly like a young version of that foreign actress from my past life, Christiana Yeri. The girl notices Instructor Perez frowning at his sword. Turns out the collision chipped a notch in his blade, and immediately apologizes with perfect noble grace. I'm so sorry, Instructor Perez. I got carried away and didn't hold back. I'll speak with Master Valentin about repairing your sword. Smart and strong and beautiful and polite. The rich really do have it all, huh? After the sparring show ends, the noble kids start learning some advanced sword technique from Perez. And me? I'm standing here staring at that little metal fragment stuck in the dirt. Nobody comes to pick it up. Nobody cares about it. So I dig it out. First sensation, heavy. This tiny chip of metal weighs way more than it should. It's definitely not bronze. It doesn't feel like normal steel either. It's some kind of special material. And if this tiny fragment is this heavy, I can roughly calculate how much that full 5-foot greatsword weighs. 70 to 80 pounds. Minimum. That's several times heavier than real medieval swords from my old world. The huge armored Perez swinging that around? Okay, fine. Maybe he's just insanely buff. But that slim teenage girl was whipping an 80-pound sword around like a jump rope while doing acrobatic leaps? No amount of normal training explains that. Either there's some secret technique that unlocks superhuman power through training, or it's a bloodline gift, something you're born with. If it's the first option, if ordinary people can train their way into becoming superhuman, then your boy Rain still has a chance. I've never learned swordplay. So what? I'm too old to start the path of the extraordinary, says who? That might be true for normal people. But I've got a system that gave me a job panel for touching donkey feet. If it can trigger a blacksmith apprentice panel from hoof trimming, then it can absolutely trigger a combat job panel when I start learning swordsmanship. And guess what? The training program for us child servants includes basic sword training. Could I trigger a swordsman panel? A warrior panel? Something even cooler? My eyes are starting to glow. Forget hoof trimming. Forget black bread with wood chips. Forget getting bullied by fake rich kids. I just watched a girl my age jump 10 feet in the air and split a sword with another sword. And somewhere inside my eyeballs, there's a system that turns everything I do into experience points. This world has superpowers. And I have a cheat code. Let's see where this goes. Before I put the sword fragment away, I take a closer look at it. The edge has these layered fish-scale hammering marks. Tiny overlapping impressions showing this thing was forged by hand, strike by strike, by someone with serious skill. The craftsmanship is insane. Back in my old life, level 8 machinists hand-built atomic bomb casings, so I never underestimate manual labor. But this metalwork? This is next level. The forging arts in this world are way more advanced than I expected. Switch. Barl yells, snapping me back to reality. I wrap the little fragment in a scrap of cloth, stuff it in my shirt pocket like it's a winning lottery ticket, dust off my butt, and go right back to squeezing donkey feet. Experience 1. Experience 1. Experience 1. Music to my eyeballs. That evening, we drag ourselves back to the dormitory. It's a big open room with one long communal bed platform, about 15 boys per room. The best spots in the middle are obviously claimed by the fake rich kids. Me and the other bottom feeders sleep on the edges where you can roll off in the middle of the night and wake up on the floor. George isn't even in my dorm, so I don't have backup here. And right on cue, Thick Eyebrows struts up to me like he owns the place. Rain, get moving. Sweep the floor, wipe down every bed and cabinet. Chop chop. Today is his turn on the cleaning rotation. His. But guess who's doing it? I look at him and my blood is boiling. I just spent the entire day wrestling donkey legs, and this punk wants me to be his maid? What are you looking at? Get to work, or you want a beating? He raises his thick eyebrows into an angry V shape, stomps forward, and grabs my collar with one fist. I start reaching for his face, and then I remember. I look down at my arms. Chopsticks. I look at his frame. He's got half a head of height on me. If I throw down right now, I'm going to get absolutely folded like a lawn chair. What my brain is thinking, Fantasy World School bully, huh? You just wait. Give me 2 days and I'll make you regret every single second of this, you thick-eyebrowed piece of, what my mouth says. I was just looking for the rag. I'm on it. Thick Eyebrows squints suspiciously in the direction I'm pointing. The rag is over there. He grunts, shoves me, and walks away muttering insults. So I sweep. I'm up. I wipe down 15 beds. I haul water. I scrub cabinets. By the time I'm done, I can barely stand. And you know what the real insult is? I spent over an hour doing servant work and my system didn't give me a single notification. No, servant job panel triggered. No, cleaning skill unlocked. Nothing. Is there no servant class in this system? Or do I need to mop for 8 hours straight? What are the rules here? Everyone passes out quickly after a brutal day, but I'm lying there fuming, tossing and turning, thinking about how to change my situation fast. Should I use my modern knowledge? Write up a gunpowder recipe and present it to Count Habsburg? I think about it for 3 seconds and throw the idea out. According to my inherited memories, I can't even get close to anyone important. The manor butler alone is a titled knight. I'm a child servant. The chain of command between me and the Count has about 19 links, and any one of them could decide to steal my knowledge and bury me in a ditch. Literally. Wealth moves the hearts of men, and a peasant kid who mysteriously knows how to make explosives is just asking to disappear. No, bad plan. The only reliable path in a supernatural world is personal power. Level up first. Everything else comes after. Speaking of power, that noble girl was really something, wasn't she? I heard people calling her Lady Clea or something like that. Is she the Count's daughter? Some other noble house. My mind drifts to the image of her in that tight hunting outfit, the way her athletic body moved through those sword forms, especially when she jumped and her back arched and that firm, round. I fall asleep. Next morning, dawn. We're dragged out of bed at an ungodly hour. Today is the last day of hoof trimming. After this, no more donkey hooves until next month. This is a crisis. I finally get a cheat system, and the content is about to run out. It's like finding an unlimited buffet coupon and being told the restaurant closes tomorrow. Should I ask Barl to let me try trimming hooves myself? I look at my spaghetti arms and shake my head. With 0 experience and 0 strength, I'd probably butcher the hoof and get myself banned from touching animals forever. Bad idea. The noble kids don't show up to the training field today either. No more warrior goddess eye candy. Disappointing. By end of day, my hoof trimming skill sits at 32/100ths. Not bad, but now what? I'm about to hit a wall. I go to bed stressed. Next morning, Barl stands in front of us with his chest puffed out and announces, "Today, we learn how to nail horseshoes. But first, we need to trim the horse hooves." I don't hear the rest of the sentence. My brain has already exploded. Horse hooves? Horse hooves are still hooves. I frantically flip my transparent panel to page 2 and stare at the skill icon. Hoof trimming, not donkey hoof trimming, just hoof trimming. The icon shows a generic hoof, no species specified. Donkeys and horses are both in the same animal family. They're cousins. Their feet are basically the same thing. Donkeys and horses don't discriminate under the hoof trimming banner. But I need to verify this theory before I start celebrating. Barl leads us to the northeast corner of the outer bailey, near the stables. When the other trainees see the horses, everyone's face goes pale. These things are way bigger than the donkeys. Even the fake rich kids are groaning. If donkey legs were hard to hold down, horse legs are going to be a nightmare. Everyone is dreading this. Everyone except me. I am vibrating with excitement. I'm looking at these horses the way a miner looks at a mountain of gold or, come here, you beautiful four-legged experience farms. Daddy's home. Barl pulls out the first horse, a smaller draft horse, a nag, but still a full size bigger than the toughest donkey. First group, Rain and George. Get up here and hold the hooves. George and I rush forward. Barl pulls out a pre-made U-shaped horseshoe, lines it up against the trimmed hoof, and starts hammering it in. 7 holes in the horseshoe, 7 nails driven in. Every time the hammer strikes, the horse flinches harder and George and I have to grip with everything we've got. After we finish all 4 hooves on this first horse, I'm drenched in sweat, arms trembling, gasping for air, and then the notification hits. You assisted in horse hoof trimming work. Related comprehension improved. Your hoof trimming skill has improved. Experience 4. You focused on learning horseshoe nailing for 15 minutes. Blacksmith apprentice job experience 1. Plus 4. Plus 4. Donkey hooves gave me 1 per round. Horse hooves just gave me 4 in one go. And the job experience. Before, I had to grind for a full hour on donkey hooves to get 1 blacksmith apprentice experience. This time, 15 minutes for the same one. My blacksmith apprentice experience bar now reads 8/100ths. The reason is obvious. Nailing horseshoes is way more relevant to actual blacksmithing than just holding donkey feet. The system rewards relevance. The closer the activity is to the core of the profession, the more experience it gives. This changes everything. Hoof trimming and horseshoe nailing are both blacksmith apprentice work. If I keep grinding horseshoes, I can level up my job panel 4 times faster than with donkey hooves alone. The darkness at the end of the tunnel just turned into a spotlight. This is locked in, baby. We are so back. Right before lunch, while I'm gripping horse hooves like my life depends on it, a new notification pops up that makes my heart skip. You assisted in horseshoe nailing work. Related comprehension improved. You have learned a new skill, horseshoe nailing. Your horseshoe nailing skill has improved. Experience 1, a second skill. I flipped to page 2 so fast I almost give myself whiplash. And there it is, right above the hoof trimming icon. A brand new glowing square has lit up in the dark skill grid. A little U-shaped horseshoe icon with 7 tiny nail holes visible on it. Beautiful. Gorgeous. I want to frame it. Horseshoe nailing LV1, 1/100th. So that's how this works. You study something related to your job class long enough, and the system unlocks the corresponding skill. Then you grind it up through practice. It's like a tech tree in a strategy game. Except instead of researching nuclear fusion, I'm researching how to nail metal to horse feet. I'm so pumped by this discovery that I throw myself into horseshoe training with the intensity of a man possessed. The noble girl, Lady Clea, shows up again at the training field, and I don't even look at her. That's how you know I'm serious. A teenage boy in a medieval fantasy world voluntarily ignoring a hot warrior girl in a tight hunting outfit? That's not willpower. That's system addiction. At lunch, George gives me this weird look. Rain, I've noticed you've changed. My stomach drops. Has he figured out I'm a different person? You work like someone injected you with chicken blood. Oh, it's just about the work ethic. False alarm. Both hoof trimming and horseshoe nailing. You don't stop until your body literally shuts down. What's gotten into you? What I'm thinking. George, if you had a magic experience panel on your eyeballs showing 1 every 5 minutes, you'd be even more obsessed than me. What? I say. Haha. I guess getting kicked by that donkey knocked some sense into me. I finally understand how important it is to learn a trade. George squints at me suspiciously. He knows something's different about his best friend, but can't put his finger on it. Fortunately, I want to learn a useful skill is a perfectly reasonable excuse, especially considering my family situation. See George's family. His parents are freeholders. They own land, have stable income. They're doing okay. My family. Dad is a tenant farmer working someone else's fields. Mom has no steady income. And I have a little sister to worry about. So yeah, Rain is suddenly motivated to not be poor forever, is a story George buys immediately. After lunch, we're back at it. The fake rich kids lose interest in horseshoe nailing within about an hour. Their goal is to become manor guards, not blacksmiths, so they couldn't care less about hammering metal onto horse feet. They drift back into gossip mode, which means it's intel time for me. Ears up. Hey, did you guys hear? Thick Eyebrows drops a bomb right out the gate. There's a vicious pirate crew that came ashore. Pirates. Freckleface raises an eyebrow. We're not that close to the coast. What do pirates have to do with us? I heard it from Billy, the caravan guard who just delivered supplies. A pirate gang called the Black Sails landed on shore. They don't dare attack the county capital, so they're raiding small towns instead. The closest fishing port town got hit hard. They even killed the town sheriff. The sheriff? The baker's kid gasps. Town sheriffs are usually quasi-knights. Pirates are that strong. Yeah, the Black Sails are no joke. And Freckleface jumps in. I heard our own sheriff, Sheriff Kuzma, is getting transferred to the fishing port town to replace the dead one. We're getting a new sheriff sent down from the county capital. Some guy named Hamilton, I think. Thick Eyebrows nods. You heard that too? Must be true then. But wait, Freckleface continues nervously. The fishing port is only 2 days' journey from here. What if the pirates attack us? Relax. Pirates raid the coast and leave. They don't push inland. Otherwise they wouldn't be called pirates, they'd be called an army. Fair point. Thick Eyebrows. Fair point. But my mind is racing. Pirates killing quasi-knights? Sheriff transfers? This world is getting more dangerous by the minute. I almost lose my grip on the horse hoof from being distracted. Barl notices and calls out, Rain, if you're too tired, take a break. He's been warming up to me these past 2 days. Turns out being insanely hardworking actually changes how people see you. Wild concept. I'm fine. I can keep going, I say, shaking my head. Every second counts. Everyone matters. The world is full of stone-cutting knights and pirate warlords, and who knows what else. I need to get stronger, and I need to get stronger yesterday. George watches me from the sidelines with his mouth slightly open, completely baffled by how his previously lazy best friend turned into a medieval fitness influencer overnight. After 2 full days of horseshoe grinding, I check my panel and nearly choke. Hoof trimming LV1, 99/100. 99. 1 point away from leveling up. Today's the day. I'm about to see what happens when a skill hits level 2. I don't have to wait long. I watch Barl finish trimming one last horse hoof to smooth perfection, and your hoof trimming skill has improved. Experience 1. Congratulations. Your skill hoof trimming has been upgraded to LV2. Hoof trimming LV2, 1/300th. And then something wild happens. Knowledge floods into my brain. Not like a textbook, more like fragmented memories. Months and months of muscle memory downloading straight into my consciousness like I just plugged into the Matrix. Suddenly, I understand things I couldn't understand yesterday. When Barl's wrist does that little flick at the most curved part of the hoof. I know why now. That micro vibration when he scrapes off excess material? I understand its purpose. Every little trick and technique that looked random before now makes perfect sense. I haven't gotten any stronger physically. My noodle arms are still noodle arms. But my understanding just jumped forward by months. It's like I've been trimming hooves for half a year, even though it's been less than a week. I can do this now. Not the full horseshoe nailing job. That's still beyond me. But hoof trimming alone? I'm ready. I can handle it. The problem is, if I volunteer now, it's going to look insane. Nobody else in training can do this independently yet. I'd be jumping ahead of the entire class after less than a week. But here's the thing. I need to do it myself. I have a strong feeling that personally performing the work instead of just assisting gives way more experience. And my blacksmith apprentice job experience is only at 22 out of 100. Skills level up fast, but the actual job class is crawling. At this pace, I need at least 5 more days to hit level 2 on the profession. I can't afford to play it safe. Master Barl, I speak up. Could I try trimming a hoof myself? I think I can do it. Barl looks at me, studies my face, checks if I'm joking, remembers how hard I've been working, then nods. All right, give it a try. Every single trainee in the courtyard freezes and stares at me. Their collective thought bubble reads, this kid learned for a few days and thinks he can do it. Even the fake rich kids stop their gossip and turn to watch. They don't care about blacksmithing, but someone from the bottom of the social ladder getting attention from an instructor? That's unacceptable. Thick Eyebrows spits out the grass stem he's been chewing. What the hell is that little rat doing? Trying to show off? I'm beating his ass tonight. Freckleface nods furiously. He's just kissing up to Barl. Can't stand brown nosers. We'll teach him a lesson after dinner. Oh good. So now on top of everything else, I have a scheduled beating to look forward to this evening. Worth it. Let's trim some hooves. When Barl hands me the heavy iron scraper, I completely misjudge how much it weighs and stumble forward like a newborn giraffe learning to walk. The fake rich kids explode with laughter. Of course they do. To them, this is peak comedy. The skinny kid who got kicked by a donkey now can't even hold a tool without falling over. My face goes red. I didn't think the scraper was that heavy. I can lift it. I just wasn't ready. Barl shakes his head. He clearly thinks this was a mistake. George is tugging at my shirt again, looking embarrassed for me. But bless his heart, instead of saying anything, he just shuts up and throws his entire body weight into holding the horse hoof steady, so I can work. That's a real friend right there. Mentally awkward, physically supportive. The best kind of buddy. I grip the scraper, take a breath, and start. My right hand is a little stiff, a little clumsy. The movements aren't smooth yet. But thanks to that level 2 skill upgrade downloading months of experience into my brain, I know exactly what to do. I use the weight of the scraper itself to guide the cuts, following the natural curve of the hoof, trimming the rough edges clean. And Barl? His eyes go wide. I can practically see the thought forming in his head. This kid is actually doing it. He's weak as a wet noodle, but his technique is solid. He knows how to let the tool do the work. The fake rich kids go silent. Even they can see it. This isn't a clown show. I'm actually trimming this hoof properly. George is staring at me with his jaw on the floor. Rain, you learned this in a few days? That's incredible. Freckle face can't stand hearing George praise me. TCH. Big deal, it's just trimming hooves. It's not SWORDSMA and SHIP. Yeah. The other fake rich kids echo like the loyal backup singers they are. But I don't hear any of them. Because my eyes are glued to the system notifications. You performed horse hoof trimming. Related comprehension improved. Your hoof trimming skill has improved. Experience 5. You focused on horse hoof trimming. Blacksmith apprentice job experience 2. +5, +2. When I was just assisting, I got 4 skill and 1 job experience. Now that I'm doing it myself, it jumped to 5 and 2. At this rate, I might level up my blacksmith apprentice class today. After finishing all 4 hooves, I'm dripping sweat, but my eyes are shining like diamonds. Not bad, Rain. You can independently trim hooves now, Barl says with an approving nod. Those words are gold. An official stamp of approval from the master himself. Then Barl wheels on the rest of the trainees. And the rest of you? If you want to become blacksmith apprentices, then learn seriously. The fake rich kids don't dare talk back to Barl, but the looks they shoot me could melt steel. Before, they didn't care about my hard work. It was just a peasant doing peasant things. But now I got public recognition from the instructor. I showed them up. Oh, that's unforgivable in bully logic. At lunch, the social temperature drops to absolute 0. Nobody talks to me except George. Even the other common-born kids are giving me the cold shoulder. Jealousy? Peer pressure from the fake rich kids? Both? Doesn't matter. I'm not going to slow down my leveling speed because some teenagers have hurt feelings. They can't stand seeing you succeed, George says quietly, trying to comfort me. I know, George. I'm fine. Been through this before. School bullying. Workplace politics. Different world, same garbage. When you start rising above the crowd tries to drag you back down. Rule of life. All afternoon, Barl and I work as a team. I trim the hooves, he nails the shoes. His workload is cut in half, and the way he looks at me gets friendlier by the hour. I'm basically his teaching assistant now. And then, near sunset, the moment I've been waiting for. Congratulations. Your blacksmith apprentice job level has increased. I lunge for my panel. Blacksmith apprentice LV2, 0.03. Hoof trimming LV2, 255 300ths. Horseshoe nailing LV1, 45 100ths. Remaining attribute points. 1 remaining skill points. 1 attribute points. Skill points. I get stat points for leveling up. This isn't just a passive experience tracker. This is a full RPG system with manual stat allocation. Now, where do I put my precious attribute point? I flip to page 1. Constitution, 5 strength, 4 agility, 6 spirit, 8 strength, 4. The lowest stat. The reason I can't hold donkey legs, can't lift iron scrapers without stumbling, can't fight back against bullies. The reason I'm basically a walking breadstick. No hesitation. I dump that point straight into strength. Strength, 4-5 the instant I confirm it, a wave of warmth erupts from my chest and floods through my entire body. It flows into my arms, my legs, my shoulders, my back, everywhere. All the exhaustion from a full day of horse hoof grinding just evaporates. Gone. Vanished. I feel like I just woke up from the best 12-hour sleep of my life and drank 4 cups of coffee. Not only does adding a stat point make you stronger, it fully restores your stamina. That's not just useful. That's broken. I could grind hooves all day, dump a point into strength at sunset, and immediately be ready for another full day. As for the skill point, I almost put it into horseshoe nailing, but I stopped myself. Hold on. Think about this. If the job only gives 1 skill point per level, and the experience requirement just jumped from 100 to 300, these points are going to get extremely rare as I level up. Should I really spend it on horseshoe nailing when I might unlock a way harder skill later, like actual weapon forging? Something that's nearly impossible to grind naturally? Decision. Save it. Bank that skill point for a rainy day. When I step back up to trim the next horse, every single person in the courtyard does a double take. My movements are noticeably smoother, at least 20% better than this morning. The closest kids are staring at me with their mouths hanging open. They have no idea a stat point just hit my body like a lightning bolt of pure gains. At dinner, I demolish 3.5 black bread bricks, refill my vegetable soup 3 times, and literally lick the bowl clean. The other trainees watch in horrified fascination as the skinniest kid in the program eats like a competitive food champion. Turns out adding a strength point cranks up your metabolism to insane levels. Power comes with a price, and that price is hunger. I would eat a live donkey right now if someone seasoned it. After dinner, feeling full and strong and ready, I walk back toward the dormitory, and thick eyebrows and freckle face are blocking the entrance. Rain, you had quite the day, huh? Real spotlight moment. Thick eyebrows walks up and slaps my face with an open palm. That patronizing, dominance-asserting slap that bullies love. Yesterday, I would have swallowed my rage and grabbed a mop. But yesterday my strength was 4. Today it's 5. And I am done being a punching bag. My eyes go from calm to murderous in half a second. Smack. I put everything into a full-power, open-handed slap across thick eyebrows' face. His entire head snaps sideways, his ears ring like church bells, and he staggers 3 steps back, almost falling on his butt. The whole room freezes. Freckleface's mouth drops open. The other fake rich kids turn into statues. Nobody can process what just happened. The skinny kid just slapped the gang leader hard enough to rearrange his brain cells. But I'm not done. Before thick eyebrows can recover, I close the distance and drive my knee straight into his stomach, right below the diaphragm, dead center on his full belly of black bread and soup. Wham! Thick eyebrows doubles over and projectile vomits his entire dinner onto the floor. Chunks of black bread, vegetable soup, half-digested fish. The whole disgusting menu comes spraying out like a broken fire hydrant. The smell hits the room like a chemical weapon. Everyone recoils. Get him. Beat him up. He actually fought back. Freckleface screams, and 3 or 4 fake rich kids charge at me from all sides. But I don't care. I don't care. I tuck my chin, hunch my shoulders, and keep swinging at the vomiting thick eyebrows with everything I've got. Fist after fist after fist. Every punch carrying days of frustration, forced cleaning, stolen sleep, patronizing slaps, and that smug, good boy, shoulder pat. The other kids are hitting me from behind, from the sides, and I feel every blow. It hurts, but I refuse to stop. I refuse to switch targets. The number 1 bully is going down tonight, and nobody is pulling me off until I'm done. This isn't just a fight. This is a statement. You can push Rain Kalen around when he's at strength 4. But strength 5 Rain hits back. And strength 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Rain? He's coming. And he's going to remember every single slap. The brawl doesn't last long. Some snitch runs off and reports us. And within minutes a manor steward shows up and pulls everyone apart. And wouldn't you know it, it's the same steward my family bribed to get me into this program. Small world. Thanks to that connection, the punishment is split 50-50 between me and thick eyebrows. 1 week of mandatory floor sweeping and mopping for both of us. And I get transferred to George's dormitory. Honestly, worth it. My face looks like a purple watermelon that lost a fight with a cement mixer. But thick eyebrows. That boy's brain is still rebooting from my opening slap. He spent the whole evening staring at a wall with glazed eyes, trying to figure out how the dormitory cleaning boy just beat him like a rented mule. By that night, though, the shock wears off and the rage kicks in. His eyeballs go red. He's the king of the trainees, the undisputed boss, and some stick-figure peasant kid just made him puke in front of everyone. Next day, during horseshoe training, Thick Eyebrows is drilling holes into me with his death stare. "So how are you going to get revenge?" Freckle Face asks casually, like they're discussing lunch plans. Thick Eyebrows grins. A mean, ugly, patient grin. "Next week, we start sword training. There'll be sparring. And I've been learning swordsmanship from my uncle for 2 years. Whoa, you know swordsmanship? That's amazing. When sparring time comes, I'm going to beat him so bad his own mother won't recognize his face. Cool. So I have a trained swordsman who wants to publicly demolish me in a week. Fun times ahead. Meanwhile, what am I doing? I'm over here dripping sweat, trimming hooves, and teaching other trainees how to do it properly. See? You gotta use the weight of the scraper itself. Let gravity do the work. Follow the natural curve of the hoof. A bunch of the common-born kids who were ignoring me yesterday are now crowding around me, hanging on every word. A great man from my previous life once said, "Make as many friends as possible and as few enemies as possible." By teaching everyone else, I'm breaking the fake rich kids' social monopoly. The other trainees were only avoiding me because the bullies pressured them. But now that I'm offering something valuable, actual useful knowledge, they're switching sides faster than politicians after an election. Am I worried someone will surpass me? With a cheat system? Please. As long as I'm progressing faster than everyone else, nobody's catching up. I could teach them everything I know and still be 3 steps ahead tomorrow. After the last horse in the stable gets its shoes done, I check my panel. Blacksmith Apprentice LV2, 27 300ths. Hoof Trimming LV2, 295 300ths. Horseshoe Nailing LV1, 56 100ths. Remaining skill points. That skill point is burning a hole in my pocket, but I'm saving it. Both my current skills can be leveled through pure grinding. It's just a matter of time. Spending a precious skill point now when I could save it for some impossibly difficult future skill? That's like using your last healing potion on a paper cut. Right then, a middle-aged man in a neat gray linen robe walks up to our group. He's an official manor servant, the guy who manages the training schedule. He clears his throat and announces, "Tomorrow is Sunday, rest day. You may return home tonight, and must be back at the manor by tomorrow evening. Starting the day after, you will begin basic swordsmanship training under Manor Guard Humbert." Swordsmanship. The entire group of trainees erupts. It's like someone just announced free pizza at a middle school. George grabs my arm with sparkling eyes. "Rain, did you hear that? Sword training." "Obviously I heard it, George. I'm standing right next to you. Let's give it our all." "Yeah." The fake rich kids are grinning too, but for a completely different reason. To them, sword training means Thick Eyebrows gets to legally beat me up during sparring. They've got front row tickets to the Rain Destruction show. They think hoof trimming talent means nothing compared to the sword. And honestly, they might be right, but they don't know about my panel. If sword training triggers a combat job class, swordsman, warrior, guardian, anything, then the rules change completely. Before I can daydream about swordsmanship, though, reality hits me. I'm going home tonight to meet this body's parents and his 7-year-old little sister. The thought makes me think about my own parents from my previous life. Are they okay? Do they even know I'm gone? Are they grieving? For a moment, my eyes go dim. "Hey, Rain, what are you doing tomorrow on the day off?" George interrupts my mood. He glances around suspiciously, then leans in close and whispers, "Want to go pick nuts in the forest? The public woodland? There's nothing left in there. The townspeople strip it clean not the public one." George's eyes get that mischievous gleam. "The Habsburg Manor woodland. It's loaded with nuts this time of year. The forest ranger Killiam is my uncle. We sneak in, fill our bags, and nobody knows. But you cannot tell anyone. This kid wants to poach from the noble family's private forest using his family connection with the ranger. George, my boy, I underestimated you. There's a criminal mastermind hiding under that innocent yellow hair." "Deal," I say with a grin. That evening, I walk home alone through shining Gold Town. George's house is closer to the manor, so he's already home. My family lives on the south side, which means I have to walk the entire length of the main street. The bakery, the general store, Freckle faces in. Every familiar shop triggers another wave of the original Rain's memories, merging with mine like puzzle pieces clicking into place. I'm slowly becoming a complete person, my modern knowledge fused with his lifetime of local experience. But when I pass through the town square, I notice a crowd gathered around the public notice board. Being the nosy transmigrator I am, I push through for a look. Wanted posters. A bunch of them. The newest one catches my eye immediately. Nickname: Scarface. Appearance: shoulder-length blonde hair, long horse-like face, scar running diagonally from forehead across nose to right cheek. Real name: unknown. Crimes: raped 3 women in Peterstown. Multiple highway robberies. Suspected connection to recent child disappearance cases. Bounty: 5 imperial gold coins. Note: present corpse or severed head to any town sheriff or above to claim reward. 5 imperial gold coins. My eyes light up like slot machines hitting jackpot. With that kind of money, I could buy equipment, I could help my family, I shake my head and sigh. What am I thinking? I'm a 13-year-old with strength 5, and my only combat skill is trimming toenails on large animals. I'm not hunting down a wanted criminal who kills quasi-knights for fun. File that under future goals and move on. I continue walking down the main street. The blacksmith shop. Wait. The blacksmith shop? I stop dead in my tracks. A blacksmith shop. Right here in town. I can work there on my days off and grind blacksmith apprentice experience outside of the manor. But then the original Rain's memories crash the party. The owner, Boris, is a notorious cheapskate. Unless you're already an experienced helper, you have to pay an apprenticeship fee, 5 or 10 silver coins, just to learn anything. My family can barely afford bread. We are not paying tuition to Mr. Scrooge. Gonna need a different plan for that one. Little Rain. Hello. A friendly neighborhood lady named Aunt Seema waves at me as I pass by. You've only been a trainee for a week, and you already look sturdier. More filled out. I think she's just being polite. But then I actually look down at my arms and wait. What? My noodle arms have actual muscle now. There's a visible bump where my bicep used to be a flat line of sadness. I yank up my shirt and check my stomach. Are those ABS? Not fully defined, but the outline of an 8-pack is definitely forming under there. The old Rain didn't have abs. The old Rain didn't have the shadow of abs. His stomach was as flat and featureless as a cutting board. 1 point of strength. 1 point. And my body is already physically transforming. That stat point didn't just make me hit harder. It's literally rebuilding my physique from the inside out. I arrive at my family's house, a 2-story building with a thatched straw roof, mud walls, and wooden everything else. There's a little vegetable garden out front with some onions and greens growing. A woman is bent over pulling something from the soil. She straightens up and sees me. Rain? Is that you, Rain? The memories hit me like a tidal wave. Warm scenes, gentle hands, lullabies, scraped knees being bandaged. A mother's smile during hard times. Mother, it's me. I'm home. Mom. Emma pulls me into a hug and immediately notices I've gotten bigger. Look at you. The manor must be feeding you well. And something inside me just breaks open. I don't know if it's the original Rain's emotions bleeding through this body, or if it's just a basic human response to being held by a mother. But I feel it. Deep down. This woman is my mother now. Not just the old Rain's. Mine. Big brother. Is that Big brother? A tiny girl with long hair comes sprinting from the backyard, clutching a handful of chopped scallions like a miniature chef. This is Mint. My 7-year-old little sister. The instant I see her, the image overlaps with something from my previous life. Another small face. Another little girl who called me brother. Mint. I scoop her up and spin her around. She giggles like a wind chime in a hurricane. A little later, Dad comes home. He's a big, solid man with a square jaw and way too many wrinkles on his forehead for someone his age. The kind of wrinkles you get from worrying about bills every single night. He's a tenant farmer, working someone else's land for someone else's profit. He sees me, and his tired face breaks into a real smile. His calloused hands that have never known a day of rest, pat my shoulder. Rain, you've gotten stronger. Maybe even taller. Father, you've worked hard. I grab him in a bear hug. Dad looks slightly bewildered by his previously shy, quiet son suddenly being this emotional, but he hugs me back. When did his boy become so dramatic? Dinner is a feast by peasant standards. salted pork, a big plate of mashed potatoes, some black rye bread, and a bottle of milk. This is clearly the welcome home special. Dad would never eat this well on a normal day. I inhale my portion in approximately 45 seconds, and I'm only half full. Ever since I added that strength point, my body has been running on overdrive. I'm a growing teenager with a stat-enhanced metabolism. There's a saying from my past life: a teenage boy will eat his father into bankruptcy. I have a constant voice in my head whispering meat, 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 meat on an endless loop. I swallow my drool and force my eyes away from the remaining food. Mom notices immediately. Rain, you're still hungry, aren't you? Here, take my salted pork. I'm full. Big brother. I'm still little. I don't need much. Here's my mashed potatoes. Little Mint pushes her entire bowl toward me with both tiny hands. Rain, I also have. Dad starts. I stare at my family. This family that has nothing, offering me everything. My throat tightens. Before tonight, my motivation was about being a transmigrator who wanted to change his situation, about the excitement of a supernatural world, about the thrill of leveling up. But right now, watching a 7-year-old girl give away her food so her brother won't be hungry, a mother pretending she's full when she clearly isn't, a father ready to hand over the bread he needs for tomorrow's backbreaking labor, a new reason gets written onto my motivation list. In bold, in permanent INK. I accept Mom's pork and minced potatoes, but I refuse Dad's bread because he's doing physical labor all day and needs it more than me. I sleep like the dead that night. Next morning, Dad leaves early for the fields. Mom heads to the inn where she picks up part-time work. Just me and Mint at home. I find Mint in the backyard planting carrots alongside a girl I haven't properly met yet. Big brother. I'm planting carrots with big sister Anna. Anna. Right. The neighbor. The original Rain's memories fill me in. She's a quiet, shy girl who moved to Shining Gold Town with her mother about a year ago. Then her mother mysteriously disappeared, and now Anna lives alone in the wooden shack next door. She turns to look at me, and her face has beautiful bone structure, but there's this unhealthy pallor to her skin. She's clearly malnourished. Her pale yellow hair is dry and split at the ends, but her deep brown eyes, there's a quiet, stubborn strength in them, like a wildflower growing through concrete. Rain. Hello. She keeps her head down, shy and stiff as a board. Before I can offer to help with the carrots, George's voice booms from the front gate. Rain. Let's go get those nuts. Big brother, I want to go too. Mint bounces up immediately. Anna's eyes flicker with longing too, but she doesn't say anything. I hesitate, but shake my head. We're sneaking into the manor's private forest. George is sticking his neck out by bringing me. If I show up with 2 extra people, that's pushing it way too far. Mint, stay home with big sister Anna, okay? I'll bring back nuts for both of you. Oak away. Mint droops like a sad little flower. But she listens without throwing a fit. 7 years old, and already more mature than half the adults I knew in my past life. I ruffle her hair and head out with George. After we walk for a bit, George suddenly gets this weird look on his face. Rain, why is your sister hanging out with Anna? Haven't you heard? People say she's unlucky. Cursed, even. Cursed. George looks around nervously, lowers his voice. I overheard my dad once. Anna's mom didn't just disappear. She was apparently taken by someone, but I don't know who or why. Taken? Not missing, taken? That's a very different story. Don't tell anyone I told you that. George adds quickly. Who took her? No idea. That's all I know. Before I can process this creepy little mystery, George drops another bomb. Oh, and Rain? 2 children from the north side of our town went missing recently. Tell Mint not to wander around alone. What? I thought the child disappearances were happening in other towns. It's reached Shining Gold Town now. I don't really know the details. Classic George. Delivers terrifying news and then shrugs when you ask follow-up questions. So let me get this straight. We've got a wanted criminal nicknamed Scarface who might be connected to missing children. We've got kids disappearing from MY Town now. We've got a neighbor girl whose mother was taken by unknown parties. And we've got pirates raiding coastal towns 2 days away. This world is getting darker by the minute. And I'm out here going nut-picking with my buddy like it's a Sunday picnic. George and I come back from our secret nut-picking mission with a full basket of wild blueberries, hazelnuts, and chestnuts. The manor's private forest is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet that nobody touches because, you know, It's illegal for commoners to go there. The public forest? Stripped cleaner than a Thanksgiving turkey on Black Friday. Not a single berry left. As I'm walking home, feeling like a successful grocery thief, the autumn sun warm on my face, I spot smoke rising from our chimney. Mom's cooking. Life is good. But then my eyes drift to the house next door and I freeze. Anna is sitting on her wooden steps in the sunshine, eating a piece of wheat bran cake. Not bread, wheat bran cake. That's worse than black bread. It's basically what you feed livestock, except this girl is eating it like it's a Michelin star dessert. She's holding it with one hand, and her other hand is cupped underneath to catch every single crumb that falls. She tips the crumbs into her mouth. Not a single speck wasted. Then she closes her eyes in the sunlight, and this tiny, peaceful smile crosses her face. Like having one piece of animal feed cake on a sunny day is all the happiness she needs in this world. My chest squeezes so tight I can barely breathe. What kind of life do you have to live for that to be your definition of a good day? I look down at my basket overflowing with berries and nuts. I open my mouth to say something, but we're not close. She's shy. If I just walk up and shove food at her, she might refuse out of pride or embarrassment. So I go inside, pour out half the basket for my family, and hand the other half to my little sister. Mint, take this to big sister Anna next door, and make sure she accepts it. Mint looks at my serious expression and her big eyes get even bigger. She nods so hard her whole body bounces. Okay, Anna big sister works so hard living alone. She'll definitely love these. And if she says no, Mint's eyes narrow with terrifying 7-year-old determination. That I'll cry until she takes them. This child is a weapon. A weaponized cuteness delivery system. No human being on earth can resist a crying 7-year-old holding a basket of fruit. Sure enough, Mint comes running back 2 minutes later, beaming like a tiny sun. Big brother. She took them. She said thank you. And we're gonna plant vegetables together this afternoon. Mission accomplished. Anna has been fed. Mint is happy. I'm happy. Now it's time for business. After lunch, I head straight to the blacksmith shop on the main street. I can hear the clang 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 of hammers on metal from halfway down the block. The moment I step inside, a wall of heat slams into me like opening an oven the size of a room. Boris Patton, the town blacksmith and notorious cheapskate, is hammering out an iron pot. Several beefy apprentices and helpers are working around him. They all look up at me. This scrawny kid wandering into their sweaty man cave, with confusion. Mr. Boris, sir, can I work at the shop? I'll do anything. Boris turns around, sizes me up. Oh, it's little Rain. You look sturdier than before. But sorry, we don't need anyone, mister. Boris, I'll work for free. The entire shop goes silent. Boris blinks. His brain visibly reboots. Free? Did this child just say free? In what universe does a teenager volunteer for manual labor at no charge? His eyes lock onto me with the intensity of a man who just found a $100 bill on the sidewalk. I can see the gears turning. How do I use this free labor without teaching him anything valuable? One of the apprentices speaks up. Master, just let him pull the bellows for me. Boris thinks about it. The bellows, just pumping air into the forge. Zero skill involved. Pure grunt work. Nothing to learn, nothing to steal. Just pulling a handle back and forth for hours. Fine. Rain, don't touch anything else. You're on bellows duty. Drillis, show him how. Bellows duty. Perfect. These people think they're giving me the most pointless, brain-dead task in the entire shop. They think I'm getting nothing out of this. If Donkey Toenails gave me blacksmith experience, a bellows is practically a forge instrument. It's directly connected to the actual metalworking process. Drillis shows me the basics. Grip here, pull this way, steady rhythm. I get the hang of it in about 30 seconds. And then the notification comes. You performed bellows operation. Related comprehension improved. You have learned a new skill. Bellows operation. Another new skill. That's 3 skills on my blacksmith apprentice panel now. I'm filling out my tech tree like a speedrunner. Every pull. Experience 1. Experience 1. Experience 1. Blacksmith apprentice job experience. 1. I transform into a human piston. Pull. Release. Pull. Release. Pull. Release. Endlessly. Tirelessly. With the enthusiasm of a golden retriever who just discovered that fetch gives experience points. The other apprentices are staring at me. Their eyes say it all. Why is this kid pulling bellows like his life depends on it? Does he know he's not getting paid? Why is he working harder than US? Is he okay? No, gentlemen. I am not okay. I am addicted to invisible floating numbers that only I can see. This is what peak performance looks like, and I will not be stopping. I pull that bellows from afternoon until dark. Almost no breaks. Just pure, relentless, bellows pulling madness. Boris is so impressed he turns around and screams at his actual apprentices. You see this kid? He's working for free and he's outperforming all of you. You should be ashamed. Learn from him. The apprentices exchange panicked glances. Their cushy blacksmith apprenticeships, which are some of the best-paying trades around, suddenly feel less secure. Within seconds, every single one of them picks up the pace. Boris watches his entire workforce suddenly become 20% more productive and starts grinning. He let one weird kid pull bellows for free and accidentally motivated his whole staff. Best business decision of the year. And then, right before closing time, the golden notification. Congratulations! Your blacksmith apprentice job level has increased. I rip open page 2. Blacksmith apprentice LV3, 0.05. Bellows operation LV2, 245 300ths. Hoof trimming LV2, 295 300ths. Horseshoe nailing LV1, 56 100ths. Remaining attribute points. 1 remaining skill points. 2 level 3. In one afternoon of pulling bellows. And look at that bellows operation skill. Already almost at level 2 cap. The experience gained from doing work that's directly connected to the forge is insane compared to trimming hooves. And the real treasure, 1 more attribute point and 1 more skill point added to my bank. Boris thinks he got free labor. His apprentices think I'm a lunatic. But I just earned stat points that money literally cannot buy. Who's the real winner here, Mr. Cheapskate? Hint. It's the kid with the invisible RPG panel on his eyeballs. I drag myself back to the manor that evening like a zombie who forgot how to zombie. 1 bowl of whatever dinner was. Didn't even taste it. And I pass out in the dormitory like someone hit my off switch. Next morning, we're all lined up in the courtyard, and this beast of a man comes walking toward us. Golden hair sticking straight up like porcupine quills, sharp eyes, chiseled jaw, a hand and a half, sword hanging from his hip, and every step he takes feels like the ground should be thanking him for the honor. I am Humbert, your sword instructor. You will be learning the basic swordsmanship that every militia member must master. Sword. Instructor. The words are like music to my ears. Has anyone here studied swordsmanship before? Thick eyebrows practically launches his hand into the air. Sir. I have, sir. What kind? How long? He wants to say something cool like, oh, just a few months, I'm naturally gifted. But under Humbert's piercing stare, the truth just falls out of his mouth like a confession under interrogation. Basic swordsmanship. About 2 years, on and off. Humbert's gaze is basically a lie detector. This man's eyes could make a stone statue confess its sins. Anyone else? No. You. Come up and demonstrate. Thick eyebrows takes an ironwood practice sword, strikes a starting pose, and goes to town. //hack/. To us beginners, it looks incredible. Fast, powerful, confident. Stop. Not bad. You can go back, Humbert says with a slight frown. Thick eyebrows practically floats back to the group, glowing with pride. The instructor said not bad. Did you hear that? But I caught what thick eyebrows didn't. Humbert frowned. That, not bad, was the polite version of, I've seen better from a drunk farmer. Still, I have to admit, compared to me, a guy with 0 sword experience across 2 lifetimes. Thick eyebrows is impressive. He's got strength, he's got practiced moves, and he's got a 2-year head start. We march to the training field in the center of the outer bailey. The real noble kids aren't here today, so we get the whole place to ourselves. Under a rain shelter, there's an arsenal of training equipment. Unsharpened great swords, single-handed swords, shields, lances, training armor, padded armor. My eyes go wide. It's like walking into a medieval weapons convention, but none of that is for us. Humbert leads us to a rack of short wooden swords and points. 1 each. Line up. Freckle-face picks one up and sneers. Seriously? A wooden sword? My 5-year-old brother plays with these. Then he grabs it, and his eyebrows shoot up. These aren't regular wooden swords. They're made from oil-soaked ironwood. Heavy as actual metal swords. Rock solid. These are legit training weapons from a noble household. Leave it to Count Habsburg to have premium-grade practice equipment. While the fake rich kids admire their swords, Freckle Face slides up to thick eyebrows. Nice demonstration earlier. You're way better than me. Wait, you've learned swordsmanship too? My uncle's a mercenary. He taught me some basics when I was little. Forgot most of it though. Freckle Face puffs up his chest. In his mind, he's the second strongest swordsman among the trainees, right behind thick eyebrows. You know what this means? Freckle Face shoots me a sideways look. A certain someone can't hide behind hoof trimming anymore. Real men live by the sword, not the scraper. George starts to step forward, fists clenched, but I grab his arm and shake my head. Words are just words. They don't cost me experience points. Let them bark. Besides, I glance at the 2 skill points I've been hoarding on my panel. My eyes glint. Let's see what happens. Humbert plants himself in front of us and begins his demonstration. Basic swordsmanship, first form, stepping thrust. He lunges forward, driving the wooden blade forward like a striking cobra. Second form, stepping downward slash, a powerful overhead chop that makes the air whistle. Third form, stepping upward sweep, a rising cut from low to high, smooth as flowing water. 3 forms. That's it. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. So wrong. We all grab our swords and try to copy him, and it's an absolute disaster. The 3 moves look easy, but getting your feet, hips, and arms to coordinate together? It's like trying to pat your head, rub your stomach, and recite the alphabet backwards while swinging a heavy sword. My body has the coordination of a shopping cart with a broken wheel. Under the blazing sun, 40-something sweaty teenage boys are screaming battle cries and flailing ironwood swords around like they're fighting invisible bees. Do you want to survive when danger comes? Humbert roars, walking between us and correcting stances. Yes, we all scream back, blood pumping, hearts pounding. None of us have ever been PUA'd by a drill sergeant before, and honestly, it works. I feel like I could run through a wall. Good. Then practice. Again and again. Until it becomes instinct. He starts breaking down the mechanics. The stepping thrust channels power from your legs through your waist and into your sword arm. It's a full body chain reaction. You must coordinate every muscle. And right in the middle of his lecture, while I'm dripping sweat and hacking at the air with my wooden sword, the golden words appear. You performed basic swordsmanship training. Related comprehension improved. You have learned a new skill, basic swordsmanship. Your basic swordsmanship skill has improved. Experience 1. Congratulations. You have triggered a job panel, militia. A new combat job panel. I've got a second profession now. I'm not just a blacksmith trainee anymore. I'm a fighter. But, militia? Militia? Not swordsman, not warrior, not guardian, not blade saint, or sword god, or literally anything cool. Militia. The fantasy equivalent of guy who shows up with a pitchfork when the village alarm bell rings. Just from the name, I can tell this job class has a low ceiling. Militia means untrained civilian defense force. It's the bottom of the combat food chain. It's one step above, scared farmer with a stick. But then I think about it more carefully and the disappointment melts away. I've never held a sword in either of my lives. I'm starting from absolute zero. Of course I didn't trigger some elite combat class. That would be like a guy who just learned the alphabet triggering a master novelist panel. And here's the upside. If militia is a low-tier class, that probably means it's easy 2 level. Low barrier to entry. Fast progression. And once I max it out or learn enough, maybe it evolves into something better? Blacksmith Apprentice started with donkey feet, and look where I am now. Level 3 with 3 skills and stat points in the bank. Militia starts with wooden swords and clumsy footwork. But it won't yin there. I look at Humbert swinging his blade with the power of a hurricane. I think about Lady Clea jumping 10 feet in the air. I think about Instructor Perez cutting stone with steel, and I grin. Every master was once a disaster. Let's get grinding. My panel now has a 3rd page. Militia job class with a grid of dark icons and only one lit up, basic swordsmanship. My little skill tree is growing like a baby RPG character who just discovered the tutorial zone. But here's the problem. After 2 hours of swinging this ironwood sword until my arms want to divorce my shoulders, my basic swordsmanship is at LV1, 2 100ths. 2 points. In 2 hours. That's 1 point per hour. To reach level 2, I need 100 points. That's 100 hours. If I train 8 hours a day, that's about 12.5 days. Sounds doable, right? Wrong. Because next week is dog trainer training. Week after that is archery. The schedule rotates through all 3 disciplines across the entire 3 months. That means I only get about 1 week per month of actual sword practice. Average it out, and I'm looking at roughly 2 hours of sword training per day. At 2 hours a day, 3 months to reach level 2. The exam is in 3 months. By the time my sword skill levels up, the exam will be over. This won't work. Time to break the glass on my emergency reserves. I've been sitting on 2 skill points like a dragon hoarding gold, waiting for the perfect moment. And you know what? This is the perfect moment. In a supernatural world, a sword genius is worth 10 times more than a hoof-trimming prodigy. If I want to become a manor guard and walk the path of the extraordinary, swordsmanship is the ticket. I take a deep breath and mentally slam 1 precious skill point into basic swordsmanship. Basic swordsmanship, LV1, LV2, 0.03. The knowledge hits me like a fire hose to the brain. Scattered training memories, thousands of repetitions, hours upon hours of practice, flood into my consciousness and burn themselves into my muscle memory. It's like downloading a month of 8 hours a day sword training directly into my nervous system. When I open my eyes and swing again, everything is different. My stepping thrust flows like water. My downward slash has weight behind it. My upward sweep traces a clean arc instead of a drunk zigzag. Every movement connects to the next like they were designed to be together. Because they were, I just couldn't feel it before. And bonus discovery, now that my sword skill is level 2, my militia job experience is ticking up faster. 1 hour of practice, and I already got 1 job experience. The higher level skill is pulling the lower level job class upward. Rain. George is staring at me with his mouth wide open like a fish discovering fire. When did you learn swordsmanship? You've been secretly training behind my back? Of course not. Where would I get the money for that? George pauses. Thinks. Nods. Fair point. His family is better off than mine, and even he can't afford lessons. Then his brain catches up. Wait. If you didn't learn before, does that mean you're a sword genius? Nah. I just have a bit of a feel for it. That's all. George considers this. Yeah, you're right. It is just basic swordsmanship. The easiest entry-level stuff. My brother told me noble families have their own inherited sword styles that are way harder. Thanks for the reality check, George. Very grounding. Much appreciated. But I don't care about noble sword styles right now. Building starts from the foundation. So I shut up and go right back to grinding. 1. George watches me with a mixture of awe and confusion. His lazy, do-nothing best friend has transformed into a training machine. He tries to match my energy, swinging his own sword with renewed determination, and gives up after 20 minutes because it's hot, boring, exhausting, and his arms feel like wet spaghetti. Sorry, buddy. You don't have invisible dopamine-dispensing numbers on your eyeballs. The struggle is real. The fake rich kids, of course, have noticed. Thick eyebrows, look. Something's wrong with Rain. He was stumbling around like a baby deer an hour ago, and now he's swinging like he's been doing this for months. Thick Eyebrows watches me for a few repetitions. His expression shifts from annoyance to disbelief to something that looks like he just swallowed a live frog. That's impossible. He's definitely practiced before. His level is almost as high as mine. But how? His family are tenant farmers. They can barely afford bread. Yeah. And look at George. He's Rain's best friend with more money, and he swings like he's fighting a swarm of bees. If Rain secretly learned swordsmanship, wouldn't George have learned too? That last observation from Freckleface is actually pretty sharp. The logic is airtight. If poor Rain can afford sword lessons, then richer George definitely could. But George clearly can't swing a sword to save his life, which means the fake rich kids go quiet. A terrifying thought is forming in their collective brain. Is Rain Kalen a natural talent? No, absolutely not. They'd rather believe the sun is made of cheese. They can accept that geniuses exist in this world. They just cannot accept that a farmer's son could be one. Meanwhile, Instructor Humbert is watching me from across the field with sharp, calculating eyes. He's taught trainees for years. He saw me fumbling like a complete beginner at the start. Now I'm moving like someone with a month of solid training. Either I'm a liar who hid my experience, or I'm the fastest learner he's ever seen. But he's been fooled before. He tells himself to wait and watch. Some kids secretly pre-study and pretend to be prodigies. They start strong, but then plateau because they've already used up their head start. If I'm faking it, the truth will come out over the next few days when my improvement stalls. Joke's on you, Humbert. My improvement is never stalling. I have a system, though honestly, I'm already holding back. I deliberately slow down my swings and reduce my accuracy so I don't look too insane. If I went full speed, I'd look even more suspicious. Gotta manage the perception curve here. Can't go from zero to hero in one afternoon. That's how you get burned at the stake for witchcraft. Then the noble kids arrive for their own training session, and leading the pack with her chestnut ponytail bouncing is her. Lady Clea, Count Habsburg's youngest daughter. The girl who jumps 30 feet in the air and chops swords in half for fun. Every eye in the courtyard gravitates toward her like she has her own gravitational field. She glances over at us peasant trainees and gives an approving nod. Good, the training program is running well. Knight Lloyd is doing his job. Then her eyes scan the group more carefully and she picks out 3 standouts. Freckle face, decent form, trying hard. Acceptable. Thick eyebrows, best technique among the trainees, but clearly pre-trained and already plateauing. His movements are rigid, locked into patterns with no room for growth. She dismisses him instantly, and then her gaze lands on the skinny black-haired boy at the far end of the line, drenched in sweat, swinging a wooden sword like his life depends on it. That's me. My form isn't great by her standards. My power transfer has gaps, but she notices something that makes her eyes light up. Every few repetitions, my movements get visibly better. Not slightly better, noticeably better. In real time, right before her eyes. That kind of learning speed. Shadia, she calls her head mate over. Who is that? The black-haired boy on the far right. That's Rain, a farmer's son. Both parents are tenant workers for the estate, and the freckled one, Leonard, son of the Beechwood inn owner. Clea nods and says nothing more, but I can feel her attention lingering on me like a spotlight. A noble boy nearby, some guy named Dennis, catches her watching us and scoffs. Lady Clea, they're just low-born commoners. Hardly worth your noble attention. Clea's eyes go cold. Dennis, these are Habsburg subjects. Not the low-born scum you seem to think they are. Boom. Shut down. She even mentions that in the Eagle Federation across the ocean, commoners are already running for parliament. But the old empire's nobles still think superiority is something you inherit at birth like eye color. Dennis's face twitches with barely contained anger, but he doesn't dare talk back to the count's daughter. He swallows his pride like a bitter pill. Behind Dennis, another noble boy in silk clothes watches the whole exchange with an amused little smirk, like he's filing this away for future entertainment. Meanwhile, I keep swinging my sword, completely unaware that the most powerful young woman in the county just marked me as interesting. 1. The grind never stops. 5 days of grinding later, Instructor Humbert has basically confirmed in his mind that I'm a sword prodigy. 1 in 100 talent, he's thinking. Not world-shaking, but enough to make him see dollar signs, or whatever the medieval equivalent is. Guard material. Maybe even guard captain material. Then he drops the bomb. Today, we begin sparring. My pulse spikes. To improve quickly at swordsmanship, you need a training partner at a similar level. That way both fighters push each other to grow. Makes sense. Sounds great. Who's my partner? Rain? Richard. Step forward and demonstrate. Richard. That's Thick Eyebrow's real name. Of course it is. The universe has paired me with the one guy in this entire program who wants to put me in a hospital. We step out in front of everyone, take our stances, and point our ironwood swords at each other. The tension is so thick you could spread it on black bread. I can see it in Thick Eyebrow's eyes. This isn't sparring to him. This is revenge. He's been planning this for days, ever since I slapped his dinner out of his stomach. The last few days of quiet, that wasn't him letting it go. That was him waiting for this exact moment. And I can tell from the way his muscles are coiling that he's not planning to just win. He's planning to, accidentally, injure me badly enough that I can't hold a sword for months. Begin. We both thrust simultaneously. His sword arrives a fraction faster. He's got longer arms. He's taller by almost a full head, and his 2 years of practice give him smoother execution. I deflect his thrust with the strong part of my blade. Thwack! The ironwood swords crash together with a dull, heavy sound. I'm pushed back 3 steps. He moves back 1. Thick Eyebrows grins. That smug, punchable, thick-eyebrowed grin. And honestly, He's right to be confident. His reach advantage is brutal. His technique is more polished. If I had to guess, his sword skill converted to system levels would be around level 3, a full tier above my level 2. In a straight fight with these stats, I lose. He comes at me again, and again, and again. I'm barely surviving, blocking, dodging, retreating. Every clash sends shockwaves up my arms. These ironwood swords don't cut, but a solid hit can leave you in agony for weeks. And then I notice it. His strikes aren't aimed at safe sparring targets. He's going for my joints, my shoulder, my eyes. This psychopath is trying to cripple me and make it look like an accident. I grit my teeth. So that's why you've been so calm this week. You were saving it all for today. He wants to take out my shoulder so I can't train for months? Destroy my eye and call it in? Oops. Nah. Time to open the vault. I have one skill point left. My last one. I was saving it for a rainy day. Guess what? It's pouring. I mentally slammed that skill point into basic swordsmanship. Basic swordsmanship. LV2 LV3 0/500ths. A tsunami of combat memories crashes into my brain. Months and months of training experience downloading in an instant. My muscles twitch as new movement patterns burn themselves into every fiber. And for that one brief second during the download, my body freezes. Thick eyebrows seize my momentary blank stare, and his eyes light up like a predator spotting a wounded deer. Now, he winds up a vicious stepping downward slash aimed directly at my right shoulder. Full power. No holding back. If this lands, I'm out for a month minimum. Maybe 2. My sword training is over. Behind him, I can practically see his mental fantasy. One-armed Rain has a nice ring to it, but the download just finished. And something has changed. My ironwood sword suddenly feels like it's part of my arm. Not a tool I'm holding, an actual extension of my body. Like my fingers grew 3 feet longer and turned into hardened wood. I can feel every grain, every ounce of weight, and I know exactly where every inch of this blade is in space. His overhead slash comes screaming down at my shoulder. I raise my sword horizontally, strong part of the blade angled to intercept. Boom. The impact is massive. My arms shake. But this time I don't move back. Not one step. Not one inch. I absorb the full force and hold. Thick eyebrows' eyes go wide for a split second before his fighter instincts take over. He uses the rebound force to spin into a rotating downward slash aimed at my face. At my eyes. This move is actually impressive. It's above his normal level. A desperation technique fueled by pure hatred. In his mind, there is zero chance I can react to this. He's already rehearsed his apology speech. Oh no, I'm so sorry, my hand slipped. I didn't mean to. He's already picked out my new nickname, One-Eye Rain. The crowd of trainees gasps. George looks like he's about to have a heart attack. Instructor Humbert tenses his body, ready to jump in and block the strike, but he doesn't need to, because my body moves on instinct. Pure level 3 muscle memory taking over. My waist twists, my core engages, I lean back like I'm doing a limbo contest, and my sword comes up in front of my face as a perfect horizontal guard. Clack. Blocked. And before thick eyebrows can recover from his follow-through, I snap upright using my abs as a spring and whip my sword forward in a lightning-fast counter. Crack. The blade smashes directly onto his sword-hand wrist. His ironwood sword flies out of his grip, clatters across the ground, and rolls to a stop in the dirt. Disarmed. Done. Silence. Total, absolute, deafening silence across the entire training field. Every single trainee is frozen mid-breath with their jaws on the floor. George looks like he just witnessed a miracle. The fake rich kids look like they just witnessed a funeral, their own. Instructor Humbert's eyes are blazing with excitement. That last sequence, the instinctive lean-back guard into the immediate wrist counter, that wasn't textbook technique. That was pure combat intuition. The kind of reflexive sword sense that can't be taught, only born. I underestimated this boy, Humbert thinks. That instinct. That's not 1 in 100 talent. That might be something more. And from across the field, sitting tall on her horse with her chestnut ponytail glinting in the sunlight, Lady Clea's beautiful eyes flash with keen interest. The black-haired boy. Rain was it. Farmer's son. Clean background. Perhaps. Worth investing in. She's willing to give talented commoners a chance. But whether I can seize that chance, that depends on what I do next. Rain wins, Humbert announces with open approval in his voice. I turn and walk back to the line, and behind me, Thick Eyebrows is staring at my back with pure venom. His brain is already spinning up Plan C. He knows people. His family runs a tavern. All kinds of shady characters drink there. There's one guy in particular, Drunk Jack, a former mercenary, still dangerous. Maybe, for the right price. Yeah, Thick Eyebrows is done trying to beat me in fair competition. He's going outside the system now. But I don't know about any of that yet. Because right now, I'm staring at my panel with a ridiculous grin on my face. Basic swordsmanship experience, 17 militia job experience, 99 points of job experience from one short sparring match. That's almost 2 full days of regular training crammed into 5 minutes of combat. Humbert was right. Fighting a similarly skilled opponent is the ultimate experience farm. It's not even close to regular practice. Sparring is the express elevator while solo training is the staircase. I look back at Thick Eyebrows, who's picking up his sword with murder in his eyes. And you know what? Suddenly he doesn't look so ugly to me. He looks like a beautiful, wonderful, renewable source of combat experience points. Please hate me more, Richard. Please challenge me again. Every time you swing at my face, my skill bar goes brrrr. You're not my enemy. You're my favorite grinding mob. After my victory over Thick Eyebrows, I immediately realize a problem. He was my best grinding partner, and now? There's zero chance he'll agree to spar with me again. You don't willingly climb back into the ring with the guy who just publicly disarmed you. I scan the crowd for alternatives. Freckleface? He's decent, but not quite at my level. George? I love the guy, but I beat him in literally one move. Sparring with George is like a professional boxer training against a pillow. Humbert calls out, "Pair up." Practice partners. Thick Eyebrows immediately grabs Freckleface, avoiding me like I'm a contagious disease. So I'm stuck with George. George tries his best. He really does. But every exchange lasts about half a second before his sword goes flying or he's stumbling backwards. My experience gain drops to basically nothing. It's like trying to grind max-level content by fighting slimes. Humbert has been watching this whole time, and I can practically see the gears turning in his head. He walks over with a slight smile. "Rain, come here. Spar with me." Every trainee in the field freezes. The instructor wants to spar with me? That's like the principal personally tutoring a freshman. VIP treatment. The premium package. The gold tier subscription. The fake rich kids look like they swallowed a family of frogs. Thick Eyebrows' face turns so red, I'm worried his eyebrows might catch fire. If it weren't for that Rain kid, Humbert would be paying attention to me. I should be the one getting private lessons. He's seething internally. Sorry, buddy. The spotlight has officially moved. I check my panel real quick. Basic swordsmanship LV3, 2500s, still miles from the next level. But my militia class? LV1, 69 100ths. If I can spar with a high-level opponent. Yes, Instructor Humbert. Don't be nervous. Just attack me. I bow slightly, take my stance, and launch myself at him with a full power stepping thrust. What follows is the most incredible 30 seconds of combat I've ever experienced. Humbert is operating on a completely different level from Thick Eyebrows. But here's the genius part. He's not trying to crush me. He's perfectly calibrating his strength to match my absolute maximum. Every strike he throws is just hard enough to push me to my limit without breaking me. Every opening he creates is just wide enough for me to exploit if I react fast enough. He's not fighting me. He's teaching me through combat, feeding me attacks like a master chef presenting a tasting menu of violence. We trade over 10 blows in rapid succession. Thwack, thwack, thwack. The rhythm of iron wood on iron wood echoing across the field. Excellent. Rest up, Rain. Humbert nods with genuine satisfaction. Every trainee in the courtyard knows what they just saw. That was the medieval equivalent of a teacher pulling the smart kid aside for advanced tutoring. Only the top student gets this treatment. The jealousy in the air is so thick I could bottle it and sell it. But I'm too busy gasping for air to care about anyone's feelings. That half-minute consumed more energy than an hour of solo practice. My lungs are burning, my arms are trembling, and there's so much sweat on my forehead, it looks like someone dumped a bucket on me. Then I check my notifications and nearly scream. Basic swordsmanship experience. 21 militia job experience. 12 job experience from 30 seconds. That's nearly 3 days of regular training compressed into half a minute. Sparring with someone way above my level while they feed me controlled attacks is the ultimate experience hack. Humbert strolls over. Rain, your basic swordsmanship is already at the level of an ordinary militia soldier. But don't get arrogant. Keep training hard. Thank you, instructor. I absolutely will. He nods and glances at the sunset. It's Saturday, rest day tomorrow. All right, everyone. That's it for today? Dismissed. The trainees collapse with relief. Some of them just drop to the ground right where they're standing. Everyone is exhausted. Humbert starts walking away, and then he feels a pair of burning eyes on his back. He turns around. I'm standing there, staring at him with the intensity of a hungry wolf watching a steak walk away. Rain? Something wrong? Instructor Humbert. Could we spar one more time? My militia class is at 81/100ths. I can practically taste level 2. This man is walking away with 12 experience points per session strapped to his body, and I'm supposed to just let him leave? Humbert doesn't know about my system. He thinks I'm just a passionate teenager with an unquenchable competitive fire. He smiles warmly. This kid reminds him of himself at that age. Sure, but don't you want to rest first? I'm fine. I am not fine. My body is running on fumes. My arms feel like overcooked noodles. But that's what stat points are for. I take my last remaining attribute point, the one I earned at the blacksmith shop, and dump it straight into strength. Strength. 5/6. The warm wave explodes from my chest and floods through every muscle. All fatigue. Gone. Evaporated. Deleted from existence. I feel like I just slept for 12 hours and chugged an energy drink. I'm now at strength 6, equal to an average adult man in this world. Not a scrawny teenager anymore. A full-grown adult equivalent. Name: Rain Kalen Jobs. Blacksmith Apprentice LV3/Militia LV1. 81/100ths. Constitution: 5 Strength, 6 Agility, 6 Spirit, 8. We spar again. And again. And again. After 3 more rounds, Humbert is drenched in sweat and panting. He just had to do 4 consecutive controlled sparring sessions after a full day of instructing. He's an experienced fighter, sure, but even he has limits. And then he looks at me. I'm standing there with my sword raised, eyes glowing, absolutely radiating eagerness, looking at him like a golden retriever whose owner just pretended to throw the ball. His scalp tingles. Rain. Sometimes overtraining can be harmful. Rest and recovery are equally important. I'm not tired, instructor. My panel reads Militia LV1, 99 out of 100. 99. I am 1 point away from leveling up, and this man wants to go home. 1 point. Come on, instructor. Just one more exchange. Swing at me one more time. I just need 1 more point. You can do it. I believe in you. My brain is screaming. Humbert clears his throat awkwardly. Rain. It's getting dark. And I, have something to take care of at home. Something to take care of at home? You're my experience farm. Your home is here, with me, swinging a sword at my face. But I can't exactly force a grown man with a real sword on his hip to stay and play with me. So I watch, with the most heartbroken expression a 13-year-old has ever worn, as Instructor Humbert speed walks away from me. He's not walking. He's fleeing. The sword instructor is running away from his own student because I scared him with my enthusiasm. I have become so obsessed with grinding that I made a professional soldier uncomfortable. I stand there in the empty training field, watching his silhouette disappear into the sunset, one hand reaching out dramatically. Come back, please. I just need 1 more point. Just 1. I'm standing in the empty training field, mourning my lost experience point like a man watching the last bus drive away, when a pretty maid walks up to me. Rain, head maid Shadia requests your presence in the rear garden. Excuse me? The head maid? That's like the 3rd highest ranking person in the entire Habsburg Manor, right below the butler and the treasurer. Why does SHE want to see a sweaty teenage boy who smells like horse hooves and desperation? I tell George to head home without me and let my parents know I'll be late for dinner. George nods, but his face is screaming. Since when do you know the head maid? Since never, George. But I have a sneaking suspicion about who's actually behind this invitation. The maid leads me through the castle's rear gate, a place I've never been, and into the most beautiful garden I've ever seen. Flowers everywhere, stone paths winding between hedges, the kind of scenery that makes you realize just how poor you are. And there, standing among the flower beds, is head maid Shadia. About 40 years old, wearing a black maid uniform, face set in a permanent expression of, I do not tolerate nonsense. But she's not the main event. Because standing in the center of the garden, swinging a massive two-handed greatsword through flowing practice forms, is her. Lady Clea, Count Habsburg's youngest daughter. The girl who fights like a hurricane in a hunting outfit. My suspicion was right. The Count's daughter wants to test me personally. I thought the best I could hope for was catching Instructor Humbert's attention. Maybe getting noticed by Knight Lloyd, the manor butler, if I was really lucky. But the Count's daughter? That's like a high school athlete getting scouted by the national team captain. Clea stops mid-swing and turns to me with casual confidence. Rain, there are swords over there. Pick one and attack me. Just like that. No small talk. No, how are you? Just grab a weapon and come at me. This girl runs meetings efficiently. I walk over to the weapon rack and oh, these aren't wooden training swords. These are real steel. Sharpened. Gleaming. Short swords. Knight's long swords, hand-and-a-half swords, great swords, a full buffet of ways to get killed. This is the first time in either of my lives that I've held a genuinely lethal weapon while someone told me to use it on them. My hands are shaking. My heart is tap-dancing against my ribs. But I pick up a knight's long sword about the same length as my training sword, walk to the center of the garden, and plant my feet. Ready? Clea smiles and switches from her greatsword to a hand-and-a-half sword to match my reach. I nod. Swish. Her first strike comes down like a lightning bolt. I throw up a horizontal block on pure instinct. Clang. Real steel sounds completely different from ironwood. It rings. It sings. And the vibration travels up my arms into my teeth. But that's just her opener. Immediately, she chains into 3 consecutive strikes. Swish, swish, swish. So fast they blur together into a silver waterfall of death. I stumble backwards desperately, blocking, deflecting, retreating, and I can't even think about counterattacking. She's moving at a completely different speed than anything I've experienced. 3 seconds later, the tip of her sword is resting gently against my throat. 3 seconds. And here's the humiliating part. She was holding back. I know this because I've seen her swing a 70-pound greatsword like a paper fan. She deliberately reduced her physical abilities to match mine. She was playing on easy mode, and I still lasted only 3 seconds. But those 3 seconds were expensive seconds. Basic swordsmanship experience. 15 militia job experience. For congratulations. Your militia job level has increased. Remaining attribute points. 1 remaining skill points. 1 level up. Militia level 2. That one last point I needed. The one Humbert ran away before giving me. Lady Clea just handed it to me in 3 seconds. She solved my problem without even knowing it existed. But then she opens her mouth, and my celebration screeches to a halt. Your basic swordsmanship is decent for a trainee. You have some talent, though not top tier. Okay, I can live with that. Unfortunately, your physical abilities are quite lacking. The chances of you reaching formal knight level are not high. She tilts her head with a hint of disappointment. It seems I expected too much. Finding knight potential talent among commoners is really quite difficult. The way she looks at me right now, that mixture of mild interest and gentle dismissal, hits something deep inside me. I finally understand why people say women are the ultimate motivating force behind men's ambition. She's writing me off, right in front of my face. Wait, Lady Clea, please, one more chance. Let me try again. Oh? Can you still go? A beautiful woman just asked me if I can still go. There is only one acceptable answer to that question in any universe. Yes. The answer is always yes. I immediately dump my freshly earned attribute point into agility. Agility. 6-7. The warm flood of energy rushes through my body like a power-up in a video game. All exhaustion gone. Full stamina restored. And now my agility is above average adult male. In a world where speed kills, I just gave myself the biggest edge possible against someone who beat me purely through velocity. Clea was about to refuse, but she catches the look in my eyes. Raw, stubborn, absolute refusal to accept defeat, and nods. Fine, but this is your last chance. I bow, and then I move. My stepping thrust launches me forward at least 20% faster than before. Clea's eyes widen, just a fraction, just for a heartbeat. But I see it, and it fills me with fire. Clang. This time, I'm not just surviving. I'm fighting. The stamina recovery from the stat point, the agility boost, The fact that I've now gotten used to holding a real steel sword instead of iron wood. It all compounds together. My combat power just jumped an entire tier. Ding ding clang clang. We're actually exchanging blows. Fast, sharp, ringing exchanges that make Shadia, the stone-faced head maid, go from her usual expression of, "I've seen everything," to genuine surprise. Clea's fighting me and thinking, wait, what? He was barely functional 10 seconds ago. How is he this much better suddenly? Stop! She flicks her sword against mine, knocking me back, and calls the match. Very good, Rain. You may go, and now I'm confused. Is that a pass or a fail? Very good, sounds positive, but you may go, sounds like a dismissal? I still have a skill point saved up. If she wanted one more round, I was ready to, but she's done. So I bow, say goodbye, and walk away. Behind me, Lady Clea is staring at my retreating back with calculating eyes. She was ready to give up on me after that pathetic 3-second first round. But then I somehow came back dramatically stronger in the space of 30 seconds. My speed, my reactions, my confidence, everything jumped. And from my expression, she could tell I was still holding something back. Interesting. Her head made Shadia speaks up. My lady, why are you interested in this Rain boy? Dennis and Marcus are both level 3 knight squires already. They're far ahead of someone his age who just started training. Clea shakes her head. Dennis is Baron Norman's son. He's been practicing his family's night breathing technique since childhood, and he's still only at this level? That's mediocre talent at best. And Marcus? The Merchant Guild president's son has been pumping himself full of enhancement potions since he was little. His progress looks fast, but his potential is already burned out. His chances of becoming a true knight are very low. Shadia blinks. She's never heard her mistress analyze the noble trainees this bluntly. So, you're saying Rain has high potential? Clea looks in the direction I disappeared. A farmer's son. 0 resources. 0 training. 0 potions. 0 breathing techniques. Started from absolutely nothing. And in a matter of days, reached a level that nobles needed years and expensive supplements to achieve. Raw, unenhanced, pure natural talent. The question isn't whether I have potential. The question is how much. Back in the garden, after I leave, Lady Clea is apparently having a philosophical moment with her head maid. I don't know this at the time, but here's what she tells Shadia. To step onto the path of the extraordinary, a person needs 4 things: determination, talent, perseverance, and opportunity. I already saw determination and perseverance in Rain during training. Tonight, I confirmed he has real talent. But my lady, that's only 3. What about opportunity? Clea smiles like the sun breaking through clouds. I am his opportunity. Lady Clea is going to sponsor me. Of course, I don't know any of this yet. I'm walking home through the sunset thinking about what her next move might be, feeling pretty good about life. Meanwhile, in the shining Gold Town Tavern, Thick Eyebrows, Richard, is having a very different kind of meeting. He's sitting in a dark corner with a muscular, washed-up former mercenary known as Drunk Jack, sliding coins across the table. Here's 10 silver coins. Break Rain's sword hand. That's all you need to do. Thick Eyebrows' logic is simple. Talent doesn't matter if you can't hold a sword. Break my hand. In my training, problem solved. Medieval problem, medieval solution. 10 silver? That's not even 2 days of drinking money. Drunk Jack burps. 15 minimum. Fine. 15. But this stays completely secret. Relax. He's just a kid. Easy money, Richard reminds him. This kid has some sword talent. Don't underestimate him. I was a mercenary. A mercenary. Yeah. A mercenary who now spends his days drinking and hanging out with prostitutes. Really at the peak of your career there, Jack. After Richard leaves, Jack is about to order another drink when he spots a familiar skinny figure walking past the tavern entrance. His eyes light up like slot machines. Wait, isn't that the Rain kid right there? He can't believe his luck. The target is walking by the tavern on the same night. It's like ordering delivery and having it show up before you finish paying. He grabs a wooden club, wraps a black cloth around his face, and follows me out. I'm walking home through the quiet streets, mind buzzing with thoughts about Clea. Will she recruit me directly? Give me special training? Maybe. Footsteps. Behind me. Fast. Wind on the back of my neck. And this is where that agility 7 pays for itself. My body reacts before my brain even processes the danger. I lunge forward instinctively, and the club meant for the back of my skull smashes into my upper back instead. Crack. Pain shoots through my spine like lightning. But a hit to the back is survivable. A hit to the back of the head? That's lights out. Maybe permanently. The attacker didn't expect me to dodge. He freezes for a split second. The classic, wait, that was supposed to work, moment. A split second is all I need. I spin around, grab his wooden club with both hands, and YNK. He grips tighter and braces, and I feel it immediately. He's much stronger than me. In a pure tug of war, I lose. The attacker relaxes slightly, thinking, huh? Just a kid. Can't even pull a stick out of my hands. Pathetic. Wham. I kick him directly in the crotch with a rising snap kick at full agility 7 speed. His face turns the color of raw liver. Both hands release the club instantly as they fly to protect what's left of his manhood. He crumples to the ground like a sack of potatoes dropped from a second-floor window. I grab the fallen club and bring it down on his temple. Thunk. Out cold. Didn't even have time to groan. Total fight time, under 10 seconds. My first real combat encounter in this world. Not a sparring match. Not a training exercise. Someone actually tried to hurt me. My heart is hammering so hard my ribs might crack. But thanks to my recent stat boosts and sword training, I survived. If this had happened a week ago, before the agility upgrade, that first strike would have caught me clean on the skull. Game over. No continues. I check my surroundings. The streets are empty. Everyone's home eating dinner. My house is at the far end of the main road, a quiet, isolated area. Nobody saw anything. I drag the unconscious body into the nearby tree lean, find a thick vine, and tie him to a tree trunk like a holiday gift nobody wanted. Then I rip off his blackface mask. Wait, Drunk Jack, Shining Gold Town is small. I recognize this loser immediately. He's the town drunk who lives at the tavern. My brain connects the dots at lightning speed. Who would hire a washed-up mercenary to ambush me? Who has tavern connections? Who just lost to me in sparring and was publicly humiliated? Thick eyebrows. That petty little coward couldn't beat me with a sword, so he hired a thug to break my hand in a back alley. Classic bully escalation. When you can't win the game, flip the table. I slap Drunk Jack awake. Rain, you little brat. Untie me right now, or I grab his sock, the one he's clearly been wearing for at least a month straight. Peel it off his disgusting foot and stuff it directly into his mouth. MMPHHH. His own foot odor is so catastrophic that tears and snot start streaming down his face. He's gagging on the biological weapon he's been growing in his own shoe. I wipe my contaminated hand on the ground because I'm pretty sure touching that sock gave me 3 different diseases. I ask questions. You nod. Understand. He nods frantically. Anything to get the sock removed. I pull out the toxic sock. Who sent you? Drunk Jack gasps for air like a drowning man. Rain, you better release me right now, or else. Sock goes back iron. MMMPPHHH. I lean in close with my most terrifying expression, which honestly probably isn't that scary on a 13-year-old face, but tied to a tree with your own biohazard sock in your mouth. Everything looks scary. Let me explain your situation, Jack. We're in the forest. Nobody comes here at night. You have no family in this town. Nobody will notice you're missing for at least 2 weeks. I pause for maximum dramatic effect. All I have to do is make a small cut on your arm. The blood will attract wild animals. And out here, at night, tied to a tree, unable to run, Jack's eyes go wide. The tough guy mercenary act evaporates like morning dew. So let me ask again. At first, Drunk Jack gives me this look like, kid, you don't have the guts to actually kill someone. Total disbelief. Rolling his eyes at me like I'm a puppy trying to act tough. So I lay out a very detailed, very specific, step-by-step plan for how I would dispose of his body using the local wildlife. No rush. No emotion. Just calm, practical logistics, delivered with the energy of someone explaining a recipe. His eyes go from, you're bluffing, to, oh God, he's not bluffing, in about 15 seconds. And when it's all over, I continue with my best serial killer calm voice. Nobody will suspect me. Because I'm just a child. That's what breaks him. The realization that yes, if a 13-year-old peasant boy's neighborhood drunk disappears, nobody is going to interrogate the kid. It was Richard, the tavern owner's son. He paid me to break your hand. That's all I know. Please, called it. Thick eyebrows. That coward couldn't beat me with a sword, So he went full crime boss and hired a hitman. Except his budget could only afford the dollar store version. Now, what to do with Drunk Jack? I can't just let him go. He'll either come back for revenge or tell everyone what happened. But I'm also not actually going to murder someone. Despite my Oscar-worthy psychopath performance just now, I'm still a normal guy on the inside. So I land on a middle ground solution. Beat him until he's too stupid to remember any of this. I hold up one finger in front of his face. How many is this? Drunk Jack stares at my hand, confused but desperate to get the right answer. 1. It's 1, whack. Stick to the forehead. Wrong. How is that wrong? I hold up one finger again. How many? He squints at my hand with the intensity of a man defusing a bomb. 1 finger. It's definitely 1 finger. He triple checks. Point 1. It's 1. Stop hitting me, whack. Wrong again. 1 finger. Again. How many? Drunk Jack is now crying actual tears. It's not running down his chin. His forehead has more lumps than a bag of potatoes. Whatever you say it is. It's whatever you say. Huh. Still not brain damaged. Impressive skull. I say this quietly, almost to myself, but apparently not quietly enough, because somewhere in the dense forest behind me, a hidden observer's mouth twitches involuntarily. Yeah, I don't know it yet, but the Newtown sheriff, Hamilton, has been watching this entire show from the shadows. He heard the commotion in the woods, came to investigate like a responsible law enforcement officer, and found a scrawny teenager interrogating a tied-up grown man with sock-based torture and selective arithmetic. Hamilton already knows Drunk Jack. The guy is flagged as a person of concern in his security files. A lazy, lying, petty criminal who brags about his mercenary days to impress lonely widows. Not exactly a threat to national security, but a nuisance. And now Hamilton is watching me try to give this man permanent brain damage with a stick and a math quiz, and he's thinking, this kid is trying to scramble his brains so he can't talk later. Brutal, but logical? For a 13-year-old? This is one interesting little psychopath. He decides to intervene before I actually succeed in creating the village idiot. Not because he cares about Drunk Jack, but because an unsolved attempted murder in his jurisdiction would be paperwork he doesn't want. He takes a step forward. A twig snaps under his boot. I freeze mid-swing. At the same time, my eyes catch something, Drunk Jack's waist pouch. It's bulging with coins. That's my money now, buddy. Consider it emotional damages plus hazard pay plus sock cleaning fees. Snap. The sound from behind hits me like ice water. I spin around, gripping the wooden stick, and see a tall shadow emerging from the dark trees. And on his hip, a sword. Every hair on my body stands up. Cold sweat erupts across my back like someone turned on a faucet. Armed. Unknown. In the forest. At night. Right after I just beat up and tied a man to a tree. My brain goes into overdrive. Armed stranger. Don't know if friend or foe. Actually, definitely foe. I don't know any mercenaries or soldiers. If this is Jack's backup, I'm dead. Run. I bolt into the dense forest like a startled deer. Full agility 7 sprint. Weaving between trees, ducking branches, zigzagging to throw off pursuit. Behind me, Hamilton watches the kid vanish into the woods and blinks. Then he launches after me. The ground cracks under his feet as he accelerates to nearly double my speed. This man is clearly not a regular soldier. He's moving like a human missile. I run for everything I'm worth, cutting left and right through the brush, using every trick I can think of to break line of sight. After what feels like forever, I slow down and listen. Silence. No footsteps. No cracking branches. Did I lose him? I duck behind a massive oak tree, gasping for air, lungs on fire. Who was that? Another hired thug? A bandit? Why did? Nice speed. The voice comes from right beside me. My soul leaves my body, does a lap around the moon, and crashes back in. He's standing right next to the tree I'm hiding behind. I ran for 5 minutes through dense forest doing my best action movie evasion routine, and this man is casually leaning here like he's been waiting for his coffee order. I didn't lose him. He was toying with me. And he chased me this deep into the forest, which means he wants something. Which means he's definitely an enemy. No more running. No more tricks. If I'm going to die in this forest tonight, I'm going to die fighting. My jaw clenches. My last skill point. The one I've been saving. The emergency reserve. The break glass in case of death button. If I'm dead, skill points are worthless. I dump it into basic swordsmanship. Basic swordsmanship. LV3 LV4 knowledge floods my brain. Months of advanced combat training downloading in a heartbeat. My grip on the wooden stick shifts. It's not a stick anymore. It's a weapon. Come on then, Mystery Shadow Man. Let's see how this ends. The instant my basic swordsmanship hits level 4, hundreds of training memories flash through my brain like a highlight reel on fast forward. My body floods with new combat instinct, and I make my decision in a heartbeat. Can't run? Then fight. I explode forward with everything I've got. A full power stepping thrust aimed straight at the Shadow Man's face. No hesitation. No warning. Just pure, I'm going to die anyway so eat this, energy. For a fraction of a second, I see surprise flash across the stranger's expression. He clearly wasn't expecting a scrawny teenager to go full berserker on a grown man with a sword. And then, he reaches out with one hand. Just reaches out and catches my stick mid-thrust. Like catching a slow-pitched baseball. One casual grip and my weapon is locked in place. I push. I pull. I twist. I throw my entire body weight into it. The stick doesn't move a single millimeter. My heart doesn't just sink. It falls through my chest, through the ground, through the planet's core, and comes out the other side. The gap between us isn't a gap. It's a canyon. It's the Grand Canyon filled with more canyons. I just hit this man with my absolute best attack, and he stopped it with a handshake. Then, in the most casual voice imaginable, he says, "Relax, young man. I'll handle the drunk jack situation. I'll put him in a detention cell for a while, and he won't bother you again." Detention cell? You're the new town sheriff. My brain crashes, reboots, and crashes again. I look at him properly for the first time. Tall, imposing, expensive hunting outfit, quality sword on his hip. Yeah, this man looks like nobility, not a bandit. He's clearly not some back-alley thug working for thick eyebrows. I just try to stab the new sheriff in the face. Great. Wonderful. Excellent career move, Rain. Smart boy. I am indeed Hamilton, the new sheriff of Shining Gold Town, he says with an amused smile. Turns out he wasn't trying to attack me at all. He heard the commotion in the woods, investigated like a responsible law enforcement officer, and found me conducting an illegal interrogation using biological warfare, the sock, and questionable mathematics. He was just trying to talk to me, but I bolted before he could open his mouth, and then I was so fast he had to actually chase me, and then I tried to put a stick through his eye socket. Every interaction I've had with this man has been me committing a crime directly in front of him. Don't worry, what you did to Drunk Jack was self-defense. Perfectly legal, Hamilton says generously. Oh, thank God. However, his expression turns playful. You did just swing a weapon at an imperial baron and town sheriff. What kind of punishment do you think that deserves? My blood runs cold. He's an imperial baron? I attacked a nobleman? In this world, peasants get executed for that. I basically just committed treason with a stick. Well, you see, the thing is, but since you're young, he cuts in smoothly. I'll let it slide this time. On one condition. You need to do something for me. Oh, so that's the game. He let me panic for 10 seconds just to set up the negotiation. This man is a professional manipulator. He's been watching me the whole time, waiting for the perfect moment to swoop in with leverage. What kind of thing? I'm not doing anything illegal. I snap back immediately. Hamilton looks at me like I just told him the sky is green. A town sheriff asking a child to break the law. The audacity of this brat. He sighs and drops a hint. You're aware of the recent child disappearance cases? I'm investigating them. That's what I need help with. Oh, okay, well, I hate kidnappers. In this life and my previous one, if the sheriff needs help catching whoever's snatching children from Shining Gold Town, that's actually something I can get behind. Also, I don't really have a choice. The man has enough dirt on me to bury my entire future. Hey, Judge, this peasant boy tried to murder me with a stick is kind of an open and shut case. But wait, hold on. I'm a teenager with the combat power of a slightly above-average militia soldier. What could I possibly contribute to a sheriff's investigation? He's strong enough to catch my full power attack with one hand. What does he need me for? There's something else going on here. Something he's not telling me. But with his hand holding all the cards, I can't exactly refuse. Fine. But sir, I'm just a kid. Limited abilities. Can't help much. I spread my hands in my best. What do you want from a child gesture? Hamilton almost laughs. He's thinking, just a kid? Son, you just beat up a former mercenary, conducted a professional-grade interrogation, evaded pursuit through dense forest at impressive speed, and attacked an imperial baron with zero hesitation. Most adult soldiers don't have your nerve, don't worry. Nothing beyond your capabilities, he says with a knowing smile. Then, respected Sir Sheriff, can I go home now? Of course. The instant the word, course, leaves his mouth, I'm gone. Full agility 7 sprint. No goodbye, no handshake, no looking back. Just a dust cloud where a teenager used to be. Hamilton shakes his head and mutters something about, sharp little brat, as he watches me vanish into the evening. Meanwhile, I'm running and kicking myself because I forgot to grab drunk Jack's coin purse. It was right there, fat and bulging with silver. That was my combat bonus, my loot drop. And I left it tied to a tree with its unconscious owner because Sheriff Hamilton showed up and ruined my robbery. I mean, my justified collection of compensation for emotional damages. But you know what? Today wasn't a total loss. Not even close. I checked my system notifications from the night's events. Militia job experience, 23, from the Drunk Jack fight. Basic swordsmanship experience, 11, from the Hamilton encounter. Militia job experience, 8, from the Hamilton encounter. 31 combined job experience from 2 real combat encounters. That's almost a week of regular training earned in one terrifying evening. Turns out nearly dying is extremely efficient for leveling up. I should get ambushed more often. Maybe I'll put up a sign, attack me please. Preferably between 6 to 8 p.m. Must be slightly above my skill level. No killing. I make it home just as the last light is fading. Big brother, Mint tackles me with a full-body hug the second I walk through the door. We sit down for dinner. The warm oil lamp flickers. Mom serves food. Dad eats quietly. Mint chatters about the carrots she planted with Anna. And just like that, all the fear and frustration from the night melts away. The forest, the attack, the sheriff, the interrogation, it all fades into background noise against the simple warmth of family. The money from Jack's purse? I'll earn it some other way. I always do. Next morning, I turned down George's invitation for another nut heist in the Manor Forest. Sorry, buddy, I've got a date, with a bellows and a sweaty blacksmith shop. The moment I walk through the door, the familiar blast of forge heat hits me like opening the gates of hell. The apprentices are all busy at their stations, and Boris is hammering away at, he's forging a sword. Not an iron pot. Not a horseshoe. A genuine, honest-to-God hand-and-a-half sword. The glowing blade embryo on his anvil is longer than a regular one-handed sword, its surface radiating orange heat like a tiny angry sun. My eyes go wide. I start walking toward him to get a closer look at his forging technique when, Rain, you're here. Drillus, the bellows guy, waves at me with the enthusiasm of a man seeing his replacement arrive at a terrible job. The other apprentices hear my name, and their spines go rigid. They exchange glances that roughly translate to, the free labor demon child is back? And it's not even afternoon this time. He showed up at dawn. Curse this day. Last time I was here, Boris used me as a motivational weapon against his own staff. These poor guys worked their fingers raw trying to keep up with a kid who was secretly powered by invisible experience points. They're terrified I'm going to trigger another round of, why can't you work as hard as a 13-year-old volunteer? Boris actually greets me first this time. Rain, welcome back. Look at that. From, we don't need anyone, to, welcome back, in one visit. The power of free labor. Boris, sir, are you making a hand-and-a-half sword today? I ask, pretending I just noticed, casually scooting closer to watch his technique. That's right, making one for a friend. A hand-and-a-half sword. Longer than a single-hander, shorter than a great sword, popular with nobles, bounty hunters, and mercenaries. The Goldilocks of swords. I would love to learn how to forge one of those. Anyway, Rain, you know the bellows now. Go help drill us again. Bellows. Again. Of course. I want to learn casting, forging, making nails, making blades, real blacksmith work. But trust takes time to build. If I had money, I could probably bribe Boris into teaching me something useful today. That greedy old miser would sell his grandmother's recipes for the right price. But I'm broke. Thanks to a certain sheriff who intercepted me before I could collect my well-deserved combat loot from Drunk Jack's coin purse. I swear, Hamilton, I will remember that stolen wallet for the rest of my life. Drillis practically leaps out of the bellows seat when I approach. Rain, you're already great at this. It's all yours. Then he scurries over to Boris like a hungry puppy, trying to watch the sword-forging process. I give it 5 minutes before Boris chases him away. 4 minutes and 30 seconds later, Drillis, go smelt those iron ingots. I laugh quietly. Boris guards his techniques like a dragon guards gold. No cash, no teaching. That's the rule, unless you've been at the shop long enough to earn trust through sheer persistence. Well, persistence is literally my superpower. I sit down and start pulling that bellows like my life depends on it. Experience 3. Job experience 1. Experience 3. Job experience 1. I go home for lunch with my family, eat everything in sight, and come right back. I pull bellows until the sun goes down. The apprentices watch me with a mixture of horror and resignation, working harder just to avoid another Boris lecture about that volunteer kid who outworks all of you. By closing time, my blacksmith apprentice panel is looking gorgeous. Blacksmith apprentice LV3, 265 500ths. Bellows operation LV3, 395 500ths. Hoof trimming LV2, 295 300ths. Horseshoe nailing LV1, 56 100ths. Past the halfway mark on level 3. At this rate, next Sunday I'll hit level 4. The bellows grind is boring and repetitive, and my arms feel like they've been through a meat grinder, but the numbers don't lie. As evening falls, I step out of the forge, stretching my sore muscles, and start walking back toward Habsburg Manor. And at that exact moment, literally yards from where I'm walking, something terrible is happening in a dark alleyway. A small boy opens his door to go buy something, and a filthy rag is shoved over his mouth. He struggles. A knife appears at his throat. He goes still. Rope binds his limbs. Cloth gags his screams. He's stuffed into a black bag like a piece of cargo. 2 large men carry the bag and vanish into the shadows. Boss, why does the client need so many kids? That's number 11. I heard the other teams are snatching kids too. The one called Scarface. Yes, that. Scarface. The one on the wanted poster with the 5 gold coin bounty. Scratches at a human skin mask on his face and complains that it's too tight. Human. Skin. Mask. This psychopath is wearing someone else's face to disguise himself. The scar, the blonde hair, it was all fake. Just a costume. And underneath, he looks completely different. That's why nobody can catch him. Every description of Scarface is a description of his mask, not his real face. His boss, a bearded man, explains that the kids aren't being sold to perverted nobles. They're being collected for something called the Wilderness Brotherhood. What they want with 11 children is left ominously unexplained. The new Sheriff Hamilton is watching closely. Be careful. Relax, boss. I push a snack cart down the street. I check which kids are easy targets while I sell candy. Nobody suspects the friendly candy man, a predator disguised as a candy vendor, scouting victims in broad daylight, wearing a human skin mask, working for a shadowy organization called the Wilderness Brotherhood, and they're moving south through town, toward MY neighborhood, toward Mint. But I don't know any of this, because I'm on the other side of the wall, pausing for a moment at the mouth of the alley. I think I hear something, a muffled thump, maybe a voice, and I stop to listen. Nothing. Silence. I shrug and keep walking toward the manor. I don't know it yet, but I just walked within feet of the most wanted criminal in the region, the mystery behind the child disappearances, and probably the reason Sheriff Hamilton needs MY help. Evil passed right by me tonight. And next time, I won't be walking away. Next morning, new week, new training module, dog training. Our instructor is this old guy with a scraggly goat beard who looks like he'd rather be literally anywhere else. He's got a greyhound-type dog with him. Long legs, aerodynamic skull, jaws that could crack a femur. A proper noble hunting hound. Old Goat Beard gives us the laziest briefing in educational history. You'll each get a 3-month-old greyhound puppy. At the exam, if your dog can sit, attack, stop, and retrieve on command, you pass. Good luck. Then he just stops talking. That's it. That's the whole lesson. No technique. No tips. No, here's how dogs work. Just, here's a puppy. Figure it out. I'll be over here napping with my eyes open. We each pick a puppy from the kennel and spend the rest of the day playing with tiny wiggling fur balls. Not gonna lie, it's adorable and the most fun I've had since arriving in this world. But here's the devastating part. After an entire day of puppy bonding, my system gives me nothing. 0 skill gains. 0 job experience. And the dog trainer job panel I was hoping for didn't trigger. What? How does trimming donkey toenails give me a blacksmith panel, but spending 8 hours training a dog gives me absolutely nothing? Is there no dog trainer class in this system? Or does the instructor have to actually teach something for it to count? Old goat beard, your laziness just cost me a whole job panel. Meanwhile, I'm keeping one eye on thick eyebrows all day. And sure enough, the boy is squirming. He keeps glancing at me with this confused, frustrated expression. He clearly expected me to show up today with a broken hand, and now he can't figure out why drunk Jack didn't deliver. He's probably thinking, that useless drunk. I paid 15 silver coins, and the kid still has both hands. I smile and keep playing with my puppy. You have no idea what happened to your hired thug, Richard, and I'm going to enjoy watching you sweat. Thick eyebrows apparently decides Jack just couldn't find an opportunity and needs another push. I'll visit him on Sunday and tell him to hurry up. Good luck with that, buddy. Your boy Jack is currently sitting in Sheriff Hamilton's detention cell, probably still tasting his own sock. At the end of the day, the pretty maid from last time appears again. Rain, head maid Shadia requests your presence. This time, it's not after everyone has left. The other trainees see me getting escorted away by a castle maid, and the courtyard explodes. What the? Since when does Rain know the head maid? Thick eyebrows face contorts. My family doesn't even have connections to Shadia. His dad is a tenant farmer. How is this possible? Freckle Face is losing his mind. I can feel their jealousy burning holes in my back as I walk away. It's delicious. The maid leads me through the castle, past the rear garden this time, into the actual castle building, and stops at a door on the first floor. Knock, knock, knock. Come in. Shadia opens the door, and I step into a spacious study. Nice furniture, lambskin chairs, an antique redwood desk, candles flickering in a mountain-shaped lampstand. Very classy. Very. I'm richer than your entire bloodline. And there, seated at the desk with a quill pen, writing on parchment, is Lady Clea. Without looking up, she says, Rain, there's a piece of Rage Bear meat on the side table. It's been prepared for you. Eat it. Rage Bear? Is that like an angry bear? A bear with anger issues? Some kind of magical beast? Shadia gestures toward a silver-covered dish on the tea table. I lift the lid and the smell. This is what hit me when I walked in. This aroma is so incredible it should be classified as a controlled substance. My stomach immediately starts screaming, feed me, feed me, feed me. But it's tiny. One palm-sized piece of meat. That's it. Whatever. I skip the knife entirely, stab it with a fork, and demolish it in 3 bites. Delicious. Just. Not enough, I say, licking my lips. Shadia gives me this subtle smirk that I don't understand yet. Then my stomach starts doing something weird. A wave of warmth erupts from my gut and spreads through my entire body. And suddenly, fullness. Not regular. I ate too much. Fullness. This is, I just consumed 10 military-grade compressed ration packs. Fullness. My stomach inflates like a balloon. I feel like I swallowed a bowling ball made of pure nutrition. That tiny piece of meat just expanded inside me like a sponge hitting water. Poison? No, that makes 0 sense. If Clea wanted me dead, she could flick me with one finger and I'd disintegrate. Feeling full, Clea's melodic voice cuts through my digestive distress. Rage Bear meat is extremely rich in nutrients and energy. For someone with your physique, that small piece was already your body's maximum capacity. So it's fantasy world superfood. 1 bite equals an entire feast. No wonder they only gave me a palm-sized piece. Any more, and my stomach would have exploded like an overfilled water balloon. Then Clea stands up and hands me a rolled-up parchment scroll. Take a look at this. I unroll it. The first line shows 7 small figures in different poses, each with detailed annotations. And at the top, written in common imperial script, giant bear breathing method, breathing. Method? Breathing method? This is it. This is it. The secret technique. The thing that separates ordinary humans from superhuman knights. The reason Clea can swing an 80-pound sword like a chopstick. The bridge to the extraordinary. And she's just handing it to me? My brain short-circuits from happiness overload. It's like winning the lottery, getting a promotion, and finding money in your old jacket all at the same time. I feel like the universe just drop-kicked a golden opportunity directly into my lap. I devour the scroll's contents with my eyes. The figures show complex poses, kind of like advanced yoga from my previous life, paired with specific breathing rhythms described in text. At the bottom, there's a long paragraph about a special medicine called black tongue oil that dramatically accelerates training progress when used alongside the breathing exercises. Giant bear breathing method focuses on developing constitution and strength. So that's how Clea does it. That's how a teenage girl swings a weapon that should require a forklift. She's been practicing breathing techniques that enhance her physical abilities to superhuman. Wait. I glance at Clea's figure. Her enhanced physique, certain areas that demonstrate impressive development. Clea catches my gaze instantly. Her cheeks flash pink for exactly 0.3 seconds before she regains composure. Don't make assumptions. I don't practice the giant bear method. That's not what I use. Oh, thank God she can't actually read minds. The giant bear breathing method primarily develops constitution and strength. I think it's suitable for your current situation. Hold on. Suitable for my current situation? I run that sentence through my brain's translation engine. Input: suitable for your current situation. Output: you're a scrawny little noodle boy, and this technique is designed for scrawny little noodle boys. She just called me weak. In the most elegant, aristocratic, silk-gloved way possible, Lady Clea just told me I'm a stick figure who needs special help in the not being pathetically frail department. My face was already slightly embarrassed from getting caught staring. Now it's embarrassed for a completely different reason. But you know what? She's right. My constitution is 5 and my strength just hit 6. By this world's standards, I'm barely average. A breathing method that boosts exactly those stats is literally the perfect prescription for my condition. She's not insulting me. She's giving me the cure. Rain, this parchment contains the giant bear breathing method and instructions for the accompanying medicine. It will develop your physical abilities all the way up to level 3 Knight Squire. As for the advanced potions needed to become a full knight, Clea pauses, looks at me thoughtfully, and then delivers the most backhanded compliment in history. You probably won't reach that point anytime soon. Don't worry about advancement. Just focus on building your foundation. Translation: you're so far from being a knight that I literally don't need to prepare the next step yet. Thanks for the vote of confidence, my lady. I'll be leaving Habsburg Manor soon. I've left you a supply of black tongue oil, and Shadia will arrange everything for you. Then she hits me with a question I wasn't ready for. Rain, what's your goal for this trainee program? Under those crystal clear eyes, I discover something fascinating about myself. I am physically incapable of lying to this girl. My mouth just opens and truth falls out. I want to pass the exam and become a Habsburg Manor guard. Ah, she laughs at me. Silver bell laughter, musical and devastating. How about a bigger goal? Become a real knight. If you reach formal knight status before you turn 20, I promise you can become one of my personal followers. If you can't, well, you can still be a guard, knight. She's offering me a shot at becoming a knight. Not a servant, not a guard, a knight. That's the ruling class. That's title, land, power, status. However, both the breathing method and my promise must remain secret, even within Habsburg Manor. If others find out, it won't be good for you. Secret training from a powerful noble girl? Confidential techniques? Hidden sponsorship? My brain, marinated in a previous lifetime of Korean dramas and Chinese palace intrigue shows, immediately starts spinning theories. Is this a noble family inheritance dispute? Is Clea building a private faction of loyal followers? Is she competing for the Habsburg succession? Are there rival siblings? Secret enemies? A shadowy uncle plotting from the shadows? Whatever the politics, the math is simple. She's offering me a rocket ship to the top, and the ticket price is, keep your mouth shut and train hard. Even if there's danger involved, refusing this would be the most cowardly decision I could possibly make. A wise man from my previous life once said, when heaven offers a gift and you refuse it, heaven punishes you instead. Of course, Lady Clea. Your recognition is my greatest honor. I bow with maximum sincerity and just a dash of flattery. Am I being a simp? No. I am providing emotional value to my benefactor. This is the service industry. I am a customer satisfaction specialist operating in the medieval luxury sector. Clea nods, satisfied. Good. Study the breathing method first, then I'll guide you on the specific movements. I immediately unroll the scroll and study the 7 poses. They go from easy to hard. The first one is basically a single-leg lunge with arms extended, synchronized with a specific breathing pattern, kind of like advanced yoga from my old life. My stomach is still burning from the rage bear meat, so I figure, why not start right now? I drop into the first pose. For about 4 minutes, I feel great. Strong. Stable. Like a warrior preparing for battle. At minute 5, my body starts revolting. Sweat pours down my face. My legs shake like a washing machine on spin cycle. My arms wobble. And steady breathing, I'm gasping like a fish that just ran a marathon. I stop before I collapse. The scroll says I need to hold each pose for 30 minutes with stable breathing before I can move to the next one. I lasted 5. That's a 16% completion rate. If this were a test, I'd get an F-. Lady Clea, any tips for this? Breathing method. Breathing is the key word. Keep your breath steady. Feel the changes inside your body and constantly adjust. That's how you strengthen yourself. She hands me a small black bottle. This is black tongue oil. Apply it to the inside of your knees and your shoulders during the first pose. It will help you feel your body's internal changes. I uncork the bottle and a smell hits me, kind of like that tiger bone muscle cream from my old life. The liquid inside is amber yellow, like liquid honey mixed with concentrated medicine. I pour a tiny amount into my palm, rub it warm, and spread it on my knees and shoulders as instructed. Fire. Immediate, penetrating fire seeping through my skin into the muscle fibers underneath. Not painful, more like intense warmth drilling into every layer of tissue. When I attempt the first pose again, everything changes. The muscle fatigue is replaced by this burning warmth that makes me hyper-aware of my own body. I can feel individual muscle fibers stretching and contracting in my thighs. My breathing naturally synchronizes with my movements. My mind calms down on its own. It's like someone turned on the high-definition setting for my entire body. And then, you practice the giant bear breathing method. Related comprehension improved. You have learned a new skill, giant bear breathing method. Your giant bear breathing method skill has improved. Experience 1, yes. New skill acquired. My blacksmith apprentice panel is growing. My militia panel is growing. And now I have a breathing technique on top of it all. But the system isn't done. A completely new notification appears, one I've never seen before. Ding. Detected that host has triggered a Night Squire class change core event. Comprehension of breathing method. Prerequisites for advancement to Night Squire. 1. Militia LV3 or higher 2. Strength 8, Agility 8, Constitution 8-3. Any horsemanship LV1, Shield Defense LV1, any archery LV2, any swordsmanship LV3. Current conditions, not met. Night Squire advancement failed. My heart goes through an entire roller coaster in 3 seconds. First, there is a Night Squire class. The system has an upgrade path from militia. This confirms that my job panel can evolve into higher tier combat classes. Second, the requirements list is insanely long. Let me break this down. Militia level 3? I'm at level 2. Doable with grinding. Strength, agility, and constitution all at 8 or higher. My strength is 6, agility is 7, constitution is 5. That's a lot of stat points I need to earn. And the skill requirements? I need horsemanship, shield defense, and archery on top of my swordsmanship. I haven't even touched a horse, a shield, or a bow yet. Those aren't even in the current training schedule. Third, and this is the exciting part, the system just gave me a complete roadmap. I now know exactly what I'm missing and exactly what I need to work on. No guessing, no fumbling in the dark. Just a clear checklist of, get these skills and stats to these levels. It triggered because I learned the breathing method. The system detected a key event and responded by showing me the promotion conditions. So there might be other hidden triggers that reveal upgrade paths for my other job panels too. The path to Night Squire is long and the mountain is steep, but at least now I can see the summit. The giant bear breathing method skill shows up on my militia panel, which makes sense. It doesn't exactly belong under blacksmith apprentice. Congratulations, your ability to pump bellows has evolved into ancient combat breathing arts. Yeah, no. While my brain is busy analyzing the Night Squire promotion requirements, my body is apparently on autopilot because I hold the first pose for 15 minutes straight. Triple my first attempt. Turns out obsessive overthinking is actually a great distraction from leg pain. Clea nods approvingly. Good, Rain. Once you can hold the first pose for 30 minutes, you can start learning the second one. Shadia the head maid is looking at me like I just pulled a rabbit out of a hat. She's clearly revising her opinion of the scrawny farm boy. Then something wild happens. Congratulations. Your constitution attribute has improved. I snap my attention to my stats. Constitution just went from 5 to 6. On its own. I didn't spend any attribute points. I think about it carefully. I didn't level up either job class. Nobody gave me a potion. The only new thing is the breathing method. But I literally just started. One session shouldn't cause a stat increase. Unless my body was already on the edge of a breakthrough. All those days of sword training, horse hoof wrestling, and bellows pulling built up a physical foundation that was one push away from tipping over. The breathing method was just the final nudge that broke through the dam. That theory makes the most sense. And regardless of the reason, free stat point, baby. The instant my constitution hits 6, all my fatigue vanishes. Again, every stat increase comes with a full stamina recovery. This system is broken and I love it. On my third attempt at pose 1, I hold it for 22 minutes. From 5 minutes to 15 to 22, all in one evening. Shady's jaw is practically on the floor. Clea is smiling that quiet, satisfied smile of someone whose investment is already paying dividends. But then I ask a question that I probably shouldn't have. Lady Clea, just out of curiosity, what's the fastest anyone has ever mastered the first pose? I'm not trying to show off. I genuinely need to know where I stand so I can calibrate how impressive to be. If I look too talented, people might get suspicious. Gotta manage the perception curve. Clea smiles. The fastest person I know of took 5 minutes. 5 minutes to understand the basics, and 5 minutes to understand it and hold the pose for over 30 minutes straight. On the first try, I stare at her. She stares back. Somewhere in the distance, a clown horn honks. The clown is me. Here I am feeling proud of my 22 minutes like I just set a world record, and some freak of nature out there casually nailed it in 5 minutes on their first attempt. I went from, maybe I'm special, to, I am painfully average, in the span of one sentence. This world's geniuses are on a completely different level from what I imagined. That's enough for today, Clea says. Come back tomorrow. A maid will bring you each evening. Shadia will keep the scrolls safe for you. I bow and leave, my ego slightly deflated, but my determination burning hotter than ever. On the walk back, my excitement settles, and I start thinking about what I've learned about the real structure of this world's power system. Problem 1. Access. I only got the breathing method because Clea personally chose me. Without her, a commoner like me would never learn this technique. Nobles guard these secrets like dragons guard treasure. For regular peasants, the path to the extraordinary might as well not exist. Problem 2. Money. That rage bear meat isn't regular food. It's superfood, probably costs more than my family earns in a year. Without it, my body couldn't even handle the training. You literally need to eat your way to superhuman status, and the groceries cost a fortune. Problem 3. Medicine. The black tongue oil makes a massive difference. Without it, I got 0 experience in 30 minutes. With it, I got 5 points in the same time. That's a 5 times multiplier. And the formula is clearly top secret. No oil, no efficient training. Problem 4. Advanced potions. Clea mentioned advancement magic potions, needed for full knight status, and even SHE frowned when bringing it up. If a count's daughter considers them expensive and hard to obtain, imagine how impossible they'd be for a peasant. Bottom line, becoming extraordinary requires knowledge, money, rare materials, and powerful backing. You need someone to see your value and invest in you. Same rules as my previous life. Same rules as any life. Back at the dormitory, George pounces on me immediately. Rain, what did the head maid want? The entire room goes silent. Every trainee has their ears perked up like a pack of alert puppies. I look around at all of them, grin, and say, guess. Oh, come on. George laughs. He knows me well enough not to push it. But everyone else is dying of curiosity. I can practically hear their brains overheating. So that's why Rain dared to fight Thick Eyebrows. His family knows the head maid. His family must be more connected than we thought. But wait. Isn't he just a farmer's son? Let them speculate. Mystery is its own kind of armor. Next day, dog training again. Still just playing with puppies. Still zero system triggers. No dog trainer panel. No beast tamer panel. Nothing. I spend 8 hours rolling around with a tiny greyhound puppy while my brain screams. I could be practicing swordsmanship right now. I could be training the breathing. Method. This puppy is adorable, but it's costing me experience points. After another fruitless day of dog bonding, the pretty maid appears again to escort me to Clea's study. I walk through the door, smell that heavenly aroma, and all my puppy-related frustrations evaporate instantly. Rage bear meat on the tea table. And this time, it's a rib cut. Juicy, aromatic, glistening with magical bear essence. I'm already salivating when Clea drops an unexpected bomb. Rain, after you eat. We'll start with sword training today. My eyes light up like someone just plugged me into a power socket. I thought today would be more breathing practice, which is valuable but slow on experience. But sparring with Celia? That's the express lane. Last time, 3 seconds with her gave me 15 sword experience points. Even a brief exchange with someone at her level is worth days of solo practice. And I've been stuck playing with puppies for 2 straight days with 0 sword improvement. Rage bear ribs and a sparring session with the Count's daughter? Today is going to be a very good day. Clang, clang, clang. I go at Clea with absolutely everything I've got. Full power. Full speed. 0 held back. I last 30 seconds. She's controlling her strength to match mine exactly, and I still can't keep up. She's basically fighting me with one hand tied behind her back, blindfolded, standing on one leg, metaphorically, and I'm getting dismantled like IKEA furniture in reverse. But am I upset? Am I discouraged? Is there a single speck of sadness on my face? Nope, because the notification reads, Basic Swordsmanship Experience, 29 Militia Job Experience, 1729 Sword Experience from 1 fight. That's more than I'd get from an entire day of solo practice. Why would I be sad about losing? Losing to Clea is the most profitable activity in my entire life. Shadya watches my totally not sad expression and thinks, what remarkable mental fortitude. Most young men who lose to Lady Clea either melt into puddles of shame or cling to her like desperate puppies. But Rain shows no discouragement at all. Ma'am, it's not mental fortitude. It's greed. I'm not brave. I'm addicted to experience points. Every loss is a deposit in my skill bank. Please keep misunderstanding my motivations. It makes me look way cooler than I actually am. Then Clea drops some genuine combat wisdom on me. Rain, I'm matching your strength and speed exactly. You should be lasting longer than you are. Do you know why you're not? Because my swordsmanship is bad. Not entirely. You're telegraphing every attack. Your eyes lock onto exactly where you're going to strike before you swing. Any experienced fighter reads you like an open book. She demonstrates, those long athletic legs moving with spring-like power as she shows proper eye technique. Keep your gaze level. Use peripheral vision to target your strike zone. Never reveal your intent. I was half listening at first, but now I'm locked in. This is combat knowledge that would have taken me months to figure out on my own, and she's just giving it to me. Basically, the element of surprise? Exactly. If you telegraph your attacks, experienced enemies will either dodge or block your angle before you even swing. Some will deliberately show you a fake opening, bait your predictable attack, and counterkill you. This is the difference between knowing how to swing a sword and knowing how to fight. Humbert taught me the mechanics. Clea is teaching me the art. Can we go again? She nods. This time, I keep my eyes straight ahead, fixed on Clea's face, not on her shoulder, not on her hip, not on any specific target. I attack like a drifting leaf in the wind, letting my strikes flow naturally without screaming. I'm about to hit you right here, with my eyeballs. And it works. Clea's predictions slow down by a fraction. Our exchanges last noticeably longer. The sounds of clashing steel ring through the garden, ding ding clang clang, as we trade blows back and forth in a fluid dance. 1 minute later, I'm flat on my back, gasping like a landed fish, drenched in sweat, staring at the evening sky. Exhausted? Yes, but also absolutely exhilarated. That was the most satisfying fight I've had in this life. The rush of genuine combat, the intensity of matching blades with someone who could kill you with a sneeze. It's intoxicating. And the numbers: Basic Swordsmanship Experience, 37 Militia Job Experience, 21:37. 21. From one round. That's almost a week of regular training in 60 seconds. Rain, I notice you seem especially enthusiastic about swordsmanship. That's good, but also not good. Clea sees right through my battle-hungry expression. The breathing method is your foundation. Focus more energy there. Master all 7 poses as quickly as possible. The sooner you complete them, the more your body develops. Yes, Lady Clea, what I'm thinking. But Lady Clea, you don't understand. Every sparring match with you is worth a week of solo training. The breathing method gives me like 1 experience point per session. You're literally a walking experience fountain and you want me to do yoga instead? But I can't exactly explain. Invisible floating numbers only I can see to a medieval noble girl. So I nod obediently and keep my mouth shut. Having Clea as my personal trainer is, how do I put this, life-changing. She's gorgeous, insanely powerful, and a brilliant teacher. I finally understand those rich guys from my past life who spent fortunes on attractive personal trainers at fancy gyms. Except I'm doing it for free. The Count's daughter is personally coaching a peasant boy at 0 charge. Those gym millionaires can't compete with this deal. 4 days of this routine fly by like a dream. My progress is explosive. Giant bear breathing method LV2, 12 of 300. In just 4 days, with rage bear meat and black tongue oil boosting my training, I've already moved on to the second pose. It looks like a Russian push-up hold, basically a nightmare for every muscle in my body. I can only maintain it for 5 minutes versus the required 30. But the results are undeniable. The breathing method naturally increased my strength by 1 point without spending any attribute points. Here's my current status sheet. Name, Rain Kalen Jobs. Blacksmith Apprentice LV3, 265 500ths, / Militia LV3, 78 500ths. Constitution, 6 Strength, 7 Agility, 7 Spirit. 8 remaining attribute. Points. 1 remaining skill points. 1 basic swordsmanship LV4, 578 / 1000. Still grinding toward level 5. The experience requirement is getting steep, but I can feel steady improvement in every swing. The militia class hitting level 3 gave me another attribute point and skill point, but I'm saving both. The breathing method poses get harder with each level. If I wait until my breathing skill is about to break through from LV3, then use the skill point to jump to LV4, I skip the hardest grind entirely. Maximum efficiency, maximum value. And the real upgrade isn't even on the stat sheet. Clea didn't just feed me experience points. She taught me how to think during combat, how to mask my intentions, how to read an opponent's body language, how to control my breathing under pressure. Humbert taught me to use a sword. Clea taught me to fight. Saturday evening. Time to go home for rest day. I finish my training session with Clea, feeling like 1,000,000 gold coins, and follow the pretty maid through the castle corridors. And then, walking toward us from the opposite direction, a tall noble boy with an arrogant bearing. Young Master Dennis. The maid practically flinches and bows instantly. I can feel her fear from 2 feet away. Oh, this is that Dennis. The one Clea verbally executed for calling commoners low-born. He's one of the noble squire trainees, Baron Norman's son. I bow politely because I'm not stupid. This guy has a title and a sword and a grudge against commoners in general. Dennis glances at us, 1 dismissive sweep of his eyes, and walks past without a word. But a few steps later, he stops, turns slowly, stares at my retreating back. Wait, isn't that the commoner that Clea seemed interested in? His eyes narrow. I can't see his expression, but I can feel the weight of his attention between my shoulder blades like a laser sight. Another powerful person just added me to their mental file. And unlike Clea's file, I have a feeling Dennis's file isn't labeled potential investment. It's probably labeled problem. Walking home through shining gold town, the evening air cool on my face, I pass the night watch patrol. 3 men moving in formation, leather armor, torches, half-swords on their hips, horn bows on their backs. They're lighting the street lamps with practiced efficiency. Night watchmen, the official security force for after-dark operations. They handle nighttime crime, fires, wild animal attacks, and other unknown creature incidents. That last part gives me chills. During the day, regular constables handle town security. But the night watch is different. They're trained fighters, imperially sanctioned, reporting directly to the town sheriff. I watched them walk past in their matching leather armor, bristling with weapons, and a thought crosses my mind. What if becoming a night watchman would trigger a new job panel? Watchman? Sentinel? Night guard? The possibilities are tantalizing. But that's a thought for another day. Right now, I'm heading home to see my family, eat everything in the house, and rest up for tomorrow's adventure. Life is good, getting better every day. And somewhere in the castle behind me, a noble boy named Dennis is standing in a hallway, thinking thoughts that are definitely going to become my problem eventually. I shake off the night watchman daydream and keep walking home. As I get close to my house, I spot a familiar figure standing in the chilly autumn wind. Anna, my neighbor, wearing clothes way too thin for this weather, holding a small basket. When she sees it's me, her face lights up and these two little dimples appear on her cheeks. It's the most genuine smile I've ever seen from her. "Rain, I made these pies from the blueberries and hazelnuts you gave me last time. I wanted to give them to you sooner, but Mint told me you only come home on Saturday evenings, so..." She holds out the basket, and something inside my chest just cracks. This girl who has nothing, whose mother was taken by unknown forces, who lives alone, who the entire town avoids because they think she's cursed, who eats wheat bran cake and considers it a luxury. She took my handful of wild berries, a gift that cost me nothing, and she spent days trying to repay it. She went to work for the only woman in town willing to hire her, earned enough to buy flour, baked 5 perfect pies, and then stood outside in the cold evening wind waiting for me to come home. 5 pies, arranged neatly in the basket, made with ingredients that probably cost her several days of labor. I don't know what to say. I literally stand there opening and closing my mouth like a broken ventriloquist puppet. "Finally, you gave them all to me. What about you?" "I kept a few for myself." "That's plenty." She smiles, turns around, and walks back to her little wooden shack with a bounce in her step, clearly happy that I accepted. I realize I didn't even say thank you. Inside, Mint spots the basket immediately. Her enormous eyes lock onto those pies like heat-seeking missiles. "Big brother, are those for me? Your big sister Anna made them." "OH. Is that why she's been busy?" She told me she was helping Annie Mary with work. Then Mint drops a bomb of information that hits differently. "Almost nobody in town will hire Anna for work. Only Annie Mary sometimes lets her help out. Anna is really poor. But pies need flour. And flour is expensive. So Anna had to work a lot just to earn enough money to buy it." I look down at the basket of pies again. Each one of these represents hours of labor from a girl who can barely feed herself. She worked for days to turn my casual gift into something she could give back. I go silent for a long time. After dinner with the family, I go to bed early. But I can't sleep. I keep staring at the ceiling, thinking about those pies and the girl who made them. Then, a sound from next door. A muffled shriek. Something heavy hitting the floor. My eyes snap wide open. That's Anna's house. The child disappearances. The wanted poster. The kidnappings spreading south through town. Have they come for her? Blood rushes to my head like a dam breaking. I vault out of bed, grab the first weapon-like object I can find, Dad's carpentry hammer from the storage corner, and slip outside like a shadow. As I creep closer to Anna's door, the muffled sounds become horrifyingly clear. "This girl's feisty. Boss, after you're done, let me have a turn." I checked. She lives alone. Nobody's coming. We've got all night. It's been ages since I found one this fresh. Time to have some fun. Not bad, Scarface. She's skinny, but actually pretty cute. After we're done with her, we can sell her to the Wilderness Brotherhood. They just raised their prices. Boss, I've scouted this whole south side of town with my snack cart. I know exactly which houses are easy targets. The sound of crying, muffled by a gag. The crash of a clay pot shattering. The violent ripping of linen fabric. Every word, every sound, crystal clear to my enhanced hearing. My blood turns to ice, and then immediately to lava. These are the kidnappers. The ones behind all the disappearances. The ones Sheriff Hamilton is hunting. And Scarface, the 5 gold coin bounty criminal, is one of them. Except he's wearing a human skin mask, which is why his face doesn't match the wanted poster. And right now, they're about to do unspeakable things to Anna. My hand shakes on the hammer. Every fiber of my being is screaming, "Go in there. Save her. Right now." But I force myself to think. There are at least 2 of them inside. Both are grown men. Both are armed. I heard a sword mentioned. If I charge in and fail, both Anna and I die. Call the night watch. Too slow. Too loud. And if the kidnappers hear a commotion, they might kill Anna and run. Get Dad? I think of his aged face, his bent back, his calloused farmer's hands that have never held a weapon. No, I will not put my father in danger. The cold wind hits my face, and my mind clears like fog lifting from a lake. I look at the hammer in my hand. One end is round. The other end is pointed. A carpenter's claw hammer. The pointed end could punch through a wooden board. Or a skull. A plan forms in my brain. It's desperate. It's risky. It's the kind of plan that either works perfectly or gets me killed. I hide the hammer inside my oversized sleeve, pointed end up, and knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Anna, are you home? Dead silence from inside. Then a barely audible whisper. Boss, sounds like a kid. Want me to grab him too? We could sell him. No. Get rid of him fast. Don't make noise. I'm busy here. Heavy footsteps. Someone peers through a crack in the door. Sees a scrawny, harmless-looking teenager. Relaxes slightly. Opens the door. The man in front of me is big. Strong build. Cold, predatory eyes. One hand resting on the sword at his hip. But his face doesn't have a scar, because the real Scarface is hidden under a human skin mask, and right now he looks like an ordinary, terrifying man. What do you want, kid? Who are you? I stammer, making my voice shake, widening my eyes, hunching my shoulders. Full scared little boy performance. I'm Anna's uncle. Anna and her aunt already left town. This house is mine now. Don't come back. She left? Without even saying goodbye, I drop my head and clench my fists visibly, playing the part of a heartbroken teenage boy mourning his first crush. Any other night, this guy might have teased me about it. But he's in a hurry to get back to his business. He scratches himself impatiently. Yeah, she's gone. Now scram. Okay. But could you give Anna a small gift from me? Since you're her uncle? Fine. Hand it over. He reaches out his hand, leaning forward slightly, just wanting to grab whatever I'm offering and slam the door. The hammer slides silently from my sleeve into my palm. My fingers close around the grip like a vice. I prepared for Anna. His body is bent forward. His hand is extended. His guard is down. His eyes are on my empty-looking hand. And then my hand isn't empty anymore. The hammer whips out of my sleeve in a blur. The pointed end leads. Every ounce of my strength 7, agility 7 body pours into a single upward strike aimed directly at the most vulnerable point I can reach. Scarface sees a flash of movement. His hair blows back from the wind pressure. A tiny black dot appears in his vision, growing rapidly larger. A carpenter's hammer, pointed end first, coming for his face at the speed of a level 4 swordsman's fastest strike. Crack. The pointed end of my carpenter's hammer punches straight into the center of Scarface's forehead. He freezes. His eyes go wide, 2 perfect circles of absolute disbelief. A tiny hammer is sticking out of his face like a decorative doorknob installed in the wrong location. Then, like a felled tree in slow motion, his massive body starts tilting backward. But I'm already there. My hands, small, shaking, but strong, catch his heavy frame before it crashes to the ground. I lower him silently onto the porch. Not a sound, not a creak, like tucking in the world's ugliest, most deserving baby. Right before I struck, I dumped my last attribute point into agility. Agility, 7-8 for an ambush, only one thing matters, speed. If you're fast enough, a bird can punch through bulletproof glass. And I wasn't throwing a bird. I was throwing a pointed iron hammer at a man's face from 2 feet away with level 4 swordsmanship reflexes. He never had a chance. My hands look steady, but my heart is trying to escape through my ribcage. It's beating so hard I'm worried the guy inside will hear it. I take Scarface's short sword and, oh hello, a beautifully crafted hand crossbow from his belt. I peer through the window into the room. The other one, the bearded boss, hasn't noticed a thing. He's too occupied. His back is to me. His pants are halfway down. His attention is entirely focused on. I don't think about what I see. I just move. I slip through the door like smoke. Silent. Invisible. The crossbow is already aimed. Thwip. A black bolt buries itself in his lower back. He scrams and spins around. But before his eyes can even focus on me, shink. The short sword goes through his throat. A perfect stepping thrust. Full power. Full commitment. The same move I've practiced 10,000 times. Except this time the sword is real and the target is human. His hands fly to his neck. His eyes bulge. He stumbles backward into a wooden table, slides down, and goes still. His legs twitch a few times like a snake with its spine removed. That was the best stepping thrust I've ever executed. If you asked me to do it again, I honestly don't know if I could. That was adrenaline and terror and fury all channeled into one single, perfect strike. Then everything goes quiet. I stand there, gasping, drenched in sweat, frozen in place like a statue, the sword in my hand dripping red. My chest heaves. My mind goes blank. And then one thought, clear as a bell. I killed someone. I killed someone. No. I saved someone. The fog in my eyes clears. My fists tighten. My jaw sets. I came to a supernatural world. Maybe I can't change the whole world, but I can protect myself. I can protect my family. And if I have the power, if I'm standing right there when evil is happening, then I can protect the people I want to protect. That's enough. That's everything. Behind me, Anna is trembling violently, clutching the torn remains of her linen clothes to her thin, pale body. She looks like a fawn that just escaped a wolf pack, shaking, terrified, barely holding together. Then her tear-soaked eyes focus through the blur, and she recognizes who is standing between her and the darkness. She throws herself at me and holds on like I'm the last solid thing in a crumbling world. Her body is warm against mine, and for the first time tonight, I feel absolutely zero inappropriate thoughts. This isn't that kind of moment. This is a girl who almost lost everything, holding on to the person who stopped it from happening. I pat her back gently. It's okay. You're safe now. Anna, put on some clothes first. I need to check if there are more of them. She squeaks, suddenly realizing her state of undress, and her face goes from terrified pale to embarrassed red in half a second. She spins around to find clothes, which unfortunately gives me a view of a rather lovely silhouette that I am going to aggressively not think about right now because there are dead bodies on the floor. Rain, focus. Then I hear footsteps at the front door. Someone found Scarface's body. My blood goes cold. More of them. Get dressed now, I hiss, yank the sword out of the bearded man's throat, blood splatters, and position myself between Anna and the entrance, blade raised. I'm about to burn my last skill point when a very familiar and very annoying silhouette appears in the doorway. Sheriff Hamilton. Behind him, a squad of elite night watchmen in full black leather armor. I exhale so hard my lungs almost fly out of my mouth. Hamilton takes one step into the room, sees the scene, and his eyes go so wide they might actually fall out of his skull. 2 dead criminals. 1 rescued girl. 1 13-year-old boy standing in the middle of it all, holding a bloody short sword, breathing like he just ran a marathon. He came here tonight because he received intelligence that the kidnapping suspects would be active in this area. He brought his best men. He planned a careful operation. And a child already did the job. A child killed both suspects. Not just any suspects, wanted criminals. Dangerous men. Men that regular soldiers would approach with caution. And this scrawny teenage boy ambushed, outmaneuvered, and eliminated both of them before the professionals even arrived. Hamilton stares at me, then at the bodies, then back at me. I can see his brain physically struggling to process this. The Night Watch elites file in and freeze when they see the carnage. Their eyes snap to me. This small, blood-spattered kid, and I can read their collective thought. This child did this. Hamilton studies me with completely new eyes. The last time we met, he saw potential, a clever, brave kid worth watching. Now, he's looking at me like I'm a loaded weapon shaped like a teenager. The boyish softness is gone from my face. My eyes are different, harder, clearer. He's seen this transformation before, in soldiers after their first kill. The raw stone gets its first polishing, and underneath, something sharp begins to shine. Did you do this? He asks, already knowing the answer. Yes, sir. These 2 broke into my neighbor's home to assault her. I live next door. I heard the commotion and intervened. I pause, then add with the casual confidence of someone who just discovered they're capable of murder. Under imperial security regulations, self-defense and defense of others is legal, correct? I should be in the clear. Hamilton laughs. An actual laugh. From a man standing over 2 fresh corpses. Perfectly legal. Now, tell me how you did it. Your skill level shouldn't allow you to take either of these men in a straight fight. Fair question. I explain the hammer ambush, the crossbow shot, the throat thrust. He nods along, clearly impressed by the tactical thinking. The elite night watchmen begin processing the bodies. One of them checks the first corpse's face, peels off something, and reports, "Sir Hamilton, one of the deceased was wearing a mask. Confirmed identity, Scarface. The other is confirmed as Blackbeard. Both are suspects in our child disappearance investigation and wanted criminals on the Imperial bounty list. Scarface. 5 gold coins bounty. Blackbeard. Probably has a bounty too. I just killed 2 wanted men worth a combined fortune in bounty money. And this time, Sheriff Hamilton is standing right here, so he can't steal my loot. Right?" The night watchmen haul away the bodies and do a quick cleanup of the blood, but Anna's house still reeks of death. 2 people died in here 20 minutes ago. No amount of mopping fixes that atmosphere. I look at Anna, still trembling like a leaf in a hurricane, and make the obvious call. She's sleeping at MY house tonight. "Anna, please don't mention what happened to my parents or Mint, okay?" She doesn't speak. Just nods. Good enough. I carry her back to my house. She's basically gone limp from shock, and settle her in. With me nearby, she finally falls into a deep, exhausted sleep. Her eyelashes still glisten with tears even as she drifts off. Me? I'm wide awake. Every time I close my eyes, I see it. The hammer going in, the sword going through, the looks on their faces as they died. It plays on loop like a horror movie I can't turn off. My first kills. 2 lifetimes of existence, and tonight I became a killer. A justified killer. A righteous killer.